One direct question.
Yeah.
Should we have our ear to the ground? Is something going to come soon?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Friday is going to be one of the biggest events in American election history.
What time? Where should I tune in?
The details will be shared.
Where?
Go to Bobby's X account, and Team Kennedy will be releasing a press release as well.
Okay, so one of the biggest events in American electoral history. What could that possibly mean? I think that's kind of odd framing if the only thing that's going to happen is Bobby drops out and endorses Donald Trump. I don't think that would be the biggest event in American electoral. I mean, okay, maybe, I suppose he's a Kennedy. That's never happened before, a Kennedy endorsing a Republican. So maybe that would be like the biggest event in American electoral politics because a Kennedy went the other way and is actually now endorsing Donald Trump. One of the things that makes me think, what if the announcement is, and this would be the biggest shakeup, one of the biggest events in American electoral politics, is if Trump announces that not only is Bobby dropping out of the race, but he's swapping J.D. Vance out with Kennedy. That would be huge. So maybe that, I don't think that's the announcement. That's not really, I mean, it could be, that would be amazing if it was. But there's a lot of chatter that tomorrow Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be dropping out of the race. Nicole Shanahan is his VP running mate. She's also one of the largest funders of his campaign. So she's got a lot to lose, not just her VP slot on the ticket, but she's got a lot of money that she's spent. She spent, the reports are about $4 million for a Super Bowl ad. She's put a lot of money into the campaign. So she's lost a lot of money on this campaign or invested a lot of money in this campaign, and it's not going to pan out. She's been making the rounds, dropping the hints that he is, in fact, going to be announcing that his campaign is over tomorrow. Here she is on Fox News talking about how basically the Democrats have gone after Bobby. Not only do we see Trump being dragged into court, but we're actually also seeing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dragged into court. By the way, Jill Stein is also being dragged into court by the Democrats. So Democrats are very big on using lawfare. Watch this.
I have to say there's only one party that has obstructed a fair election for us. And unfortunately, it was the Democratic Party. They've done everything they can, including creating PACs to prevent us from being able to have ballot access.
Yeah, it's interesting because you were saying that you could stay in and run the risk of Kamala Harris win, or you could walk and you could join forces with Donald Trump. When you say join forces, Nicole, what do you mean specifically?
Well, this idea of a unity party, an idea of us coming around these principles of fighting for liberty in this country, fighting for our children's health. We have the worst chronic health crisis in the world right now. Over 50% of children are diagnosed with some chronic disease. This is unconscionable.
Yeah.
And we are willing to work with anyone who is sincere in their endeavor to fix and address this issue.
Do you believe the Trump campaign and Trump himself is sincere? Do you see a home? You talk about this as being Bobby's decision. Do you see a home for RFK Jr. in the Trump administration, Health and Human Services, something to that extent?
I would fully support it. I would fully support a strong partnership dedicated to this issue. A lot of people comment that in his first term he didn't accomplish many of the things that mothers really were hoping he would do. Made some big mistakes around the pandemic. However, I think that he is sincere.
Yeah,
I do.
I think it's interesting because the National Review today kind of agrees with you. It's saying that if you, in fact, join the Trump campaign, I'm not saying the Trump campaign, if you pulled out of the race, that it would be more beneficial to the Trump campaign than the Harris campaign. Is that a fair assessment?
Slowest computer ever. There we go. So KYP was first. No, she wasn't. It was Darren Collins. Darren Collins was first. John Platinum was second. I don't know how to say this to you, but your brain is just a piece of dead, how did he say it? Dead meat. I forget how we said it. Hey, Gronk. Hey, Gronk. Gronk. All right, Ham wants to get going, so that this will be an hour non-stop. Yeah, they halted GDC, and it went to 12, and then they halted it. It goes to 6 something, and I didn't look where it is right now. Ham is strongly, well, I'll let him speak for himself. To me, I don't know. It's all speculative, right? I don't know how high it can go, but I don't think $12 to cover 90 million shares. And you know, the misconception might be that the number to cover isn't as important as the cost to the people who were short. They need to cover. Why do I say that? Because they can always start. We saw it with finger motion. They and GDC, I mean GTII, they can always start selling counterfeits again. So maybe the real issue, it's like that movie where Robert De Niro was the bus driver and the little boy, and he witnessed when the motorcycle gang came into the bar, and one of these big guys goes up and shuts the door and locks it, says, now you can't leave. I think that's what's going on with GDC. Personally, I don't expect it to last for 3 weeks. I would say 2 weeks is a question mark, but maybe next week, maybe sort of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, let's say middle of the week, see what happens. And then I'm not sure I'd stick around with your whole position. Now, I agree with him. You should be taking profits. I mean, if it was 70 cents, it goes to $5, sell some, buy it back. It goes this morning from 7 to 12, sell some, buy it back. But if you don't have a big enough position to trade just on the margin, I would say waiting until to see the fireworks next week. Remember, these guys have to get through the weekend, and 7:33, yeah. So there was a chance to sell it at 12. That's the one. That's the one. There was a chance to sell it around 12, 11, 12, and then buy it back at 7. But, then you run the risk that you're out, But if you sold already, do not feel badly. The good thing is there's other trains coming, and I feel there's a turn happening. We've gone through a bear market in these stocks, and you're not going to make everything if you lost money. You're not going to make it all in one trade, and I don't think you should try to. Take the surest part of some of these trades are the first rallies. Take them and then do it again and again. It's 11:05. I wanted to read this. I haven't read it yet. Read it with you. It's a completely unrelated topic. Who wins and who loses when the housing bubble pops? This is written by Charles Hughes Smith. And it might take too long to read. Let's just read the first paragraph, and then I'll let Ham know. And if you want to hear about it after Ham's done, Ham will probably take about an hour. He says, let's start by stipulating that my interest in the housing bubble is purely abstract. I'm not rooting for any set of participants. My approach is to simply look at the dynamics. And from the, I don't know who Rick Blaine was in Casablanca. Rick Blaine, don't know. But he said, I understand the point of view of the hound too. It's one line I don't remember. With that said, all bubbles pop, and every bubble is declared as it's going up, the new normal. That will only continue inflating to new heights before it pops. The message is now housing only goes up. There's a permanent shortage of housing and so on. The bias in reporting bubbles bursting is on the losers, those whose fortunes deflated along with the bubble. But there are also winners when bubbles burst, as what was unaffordable becomes affordable again, and capital that was chasing speculative gains is mangled and duly chastened, seeking safer returns. Both of these dynamics offer rewards to those who avoided the speculative bubble. I want to just quickly say to these guys that come on and call me Chapter 11 William, my house just in the next hood, in the next neighborhood, next circle over, just sold for over $4 million. And I lost it in a series of decisions other people made. But I just point that out to you. That's why I did that. That's why I filed. That's why I fought, because I saw that value. So the boo birds can try to make you think I'm a loser, and maybe I am a loser. I feel like a loser. But the reason on legal advice and then on my own, I just fought like heck to keep that upside and the equity of my home, which I lost. So, those guys, I don't know if they've ever had an idea that could do that kind of upside, but I lost it. Anyway, the reason I want to read this article to you, for me personally, is I want to find out how to benefit more than just vaguely if there's a housing crash. Maybe there's a way to make money, something to buy. I don't know how to do it. So that's why that got my view. All right, let's see if I can get Ham on. He wants to go on early. I'll just call him. I'll keep him off of Ace's space. Hello?
Please try your call again later. Call ended.
I guess he's busy, so we'll keep talking. Check Peach. How do you say it? Toya moi tes. And dobre utro. I think that's Czech. Dobre utro. And yeah, I can't remember. I used to know some words in Czech, but what a beautiful country. Is it called Czech lands now? Beautiful country and a magnificent capital. Praha is just amazing. I was there twice and just loved it. My dad was posted there, so I got to stay. He was DCM, so I got to stay in the Pechi Palace. That's where I swam in the pool and I got an infection. I don't think it was solely from the pool, but I shouldn't have swum in it. It had leaves and all that. So my hearing is a little off here. I got really seriously infected. And at the time, Czech medicine was a little different than US medicine. But man, what a palace, what a city, it's too bad it's probably all full of American style homes now. There was a home builder who asked me to raise money for them. They went into Czechoslovakia. Oh, at the time, it was called that. They went to build homes around Prague. And I thought, what a tragedy to bring suburbia there, American suburbia. But downtown, it was amazing. What was the tennis shoe? Bata, and the pubs, or whatever you call them, the breweries. All right, here comes him. All right, your crowd awaits. Your audience awaits.
Hold on 1 second.
I'll answer at a better time next time.
No. I'm just putting out going live now.
All right. Relax.
People always ask me, why didn't you tell me? And I said, I'm telling you.
Relax, everyone. Relax, everyone.
All right, everyone. I'm drilling down, and we're down to finger motion. We can't say anything about GTI until the court case, whatever happens there. So we're down to one stock is really where we are. And I hope that people have made money in GDC. It was it didn't happen overnight, but it did happen. And, the stock went from, probably the high that we were in is the averaging down 340 down to 88 cents and back up to 12. Well, I don't know about you, William. People look for what kind of return over a year? What is the return?
I think people are happy with 8 to 12, but 8 people are happy with.
And I don't know what percentage it went up. I can't calculate. I'm not that quick. But if anyone paid anywhere from 3 to 10 or 3 to 11 or 3 to 9, you're up 100% in your position. Those who paid $1, which I know a bunch of people have paid, selling stock at 8 this morning. One gentleman sold 100,000 shares. He paid $1.25 for. Sold it between $8 and $9. He said, and that was for his clients. I mean, that is a tremendous trade. And so there's new people on this call, just want everybody to know, that don't know about finger motion, that invested in GDC and want to understand a lot about finger motion. So if I go back and forth a little bit, just bear with me, because there are, I'll say, at least 50 people that I know are going to be joining that are looking to invest in finger motion, and they wanted to hear the gory details of which we've been presenting. And again, this is not investment advice. This is our opinion. We've been documenting this for a long time now. Number one, we put a truck in front of the SEC, DOJ, FBI, CNBC, Fox, you name it, the DTC, FINRA. We put it everywhere, outlining the crime of toxic lending. The company had a bout or fight with the toxic lender. The guy's name is Jeff Easton out of Lynn Partners. They are notorious, unregistered toxic lenders. Well, they'll give you money and they want to convert the stock at the lowest possible point. And basically, they sell all they can. They drive it down using the loophole and basically destroy companies. Companies then get their market cap gets destroyed. Instead of having 10 million shares, these guys wind up shorting 100 million shares and then try to convert it at a penny. Finger motion, thanks to major shareholders, was trapped, got out, got rid of them, and now these animals are short 230 million shares. And you say, wow, that's pretty crazy. Well, we've been documenting it for a long time. Okay, so we've been documented daily. The net numbers coming straight out of FINRA. We even followed the real short. These guys got so desperate they started to borrow shares to pile on more shares. Okay, there's 1.4 million of those. We will get the updated number on Monday. So we've been documenting the short daily. People say, well, how do you know they haven't covered? Well, we watch it every day, and the volume has dried up a lot, and we can actually see them. If you're short 230 million, let's say we're all crazy for the new people here, and it's not 230 million. Let's just make it 30 million. They haven't even covered that. All right, they don't cover anything until it's showtime, and you can see in GTC the panic when it ran to 12, these guys are starting to panic because they started to really start to cover. I don't think investors were chasing it to 12. I think that's the shorts chasing it up, getting people to come out of it. And that's how they cover. So this stock in finger motion, I think that we have educated everyone so much on it that if you were able to buy 10,000 shares, let's say at $2, and the stock runs to 10, I think most people would do is sell half of it and hold on to half. Because those are the type of things that when they go, you get your money off the table. That's how I look at it. And if you did that in GameStop, you were able to make $400, $450 more dollars on your 5,000 shares. All right? I'm not saying you could sell whatever proportion you like. Always protect yourself. But when you believe in a big short position like this, you need to let your profits run. And the only way to let your profits run is to make sure you're playing for free or as little as possible. There's nothing like a free spin at the wheel. And I've told people that I believe, and William may not believe, I don't know. I believe this is a life-changing situation. And just imagine having 5,000 shares of stock and 10,000, and you sold 5 at 10, and you made 40,000 in profit. You made $8, let's say, on 5,000 shares, and you got 5,000 in your pocket, and this thing runs to 500. All right, think about 5,000 shares times $500. All right, that, my friends, is life-changing. Pays off your mortgage, pays for your kids' college, everything. And you can basically do that for free. And you say, wow, that's a big pipe dream you guys are talking about here. Well, I look at it this way. You have free inside information that has never been given out to anybody before. And you say, what is this knucklehead talking about? Well, in 55 trading days, Patrick Byrne, in an audio on a conference call with us, told us that he's been offered a position in the administration if Trump wins. And I've been standing here telling people vote for Trump, not because he's my cousin, my neighbor, I love him, I don't care. He's going to put Pat Byrne in. Pat Byrne will fix the stock settlement system. If he does not fix the stock settlement system, everyone on this phone call, I don't care, you're black, white, Chinese, whatever, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, you will be a working slob forever and never have the opportunity to get out of this rut and to have a good life with your family and buy things and travel and do the things you want to do. Because you'll be working, and if you invest in the stock market, they'll just keep robbing you. They rob everyone. They're equal opportunity thieves. They steal from everyone. They steal from their own mothers. So Pat Byrne is the key to this whole thing. And he said it on the recording, and Pat Byrne helped Trump out with his election thing. And Pat Byrne didn't even vote for Trump. But he wants to fix the stock settlement system. He's been fighting shorts for a long time. Now, on a different note, just taking a step back to finger motion for a second, if you look at it, Pat Byrne was with Overstock. He created a special dividend. The special dividend exposed the criminals, and his stock went from $3 to $128. It's right there. Just Google it yourself. Pat Byrne short squeeze. And you can see and read about it. Well, finger motion is filed with the SEC for a new dividend, a special warrant. Okay, a dividend. They're waiting for the approval. It will have its own symbol, FNGRW. I do not know the strike price. I think it's been heard that it's been $3. So if the stock goes to 100, you'll be able to have if you're a holder, you'll get a 10% dividend. So if you own 10,000 shares, William, you'll get 10%. You'll have 1,000 free warrants for free. You put it on the side. If the stock goes to 100, it's like an option that doesn't expire. The stock goes to 100. You pay the company $3 to exercise your warrant, and you make the difference from 100 to 3. You make $97 or $97,000 for free. The short sellers, if the short is 230 million, like we believe, they will be short 10%. The day it's approved and the record date, they'll be short 23 million of those warrants. They won't be able to deliver them. So they'll be short the stock and short the warrants. It makes it 23 million shares bigger day one. It adds margin because they have to put margin up for that position. And these are the type of things that will expose and crush the shorts. Pat Byrne did it. We're following up with it. And you say, well, it doesn't always work. Well, right behind that is 55 trading days until Pat Byrne comes. And Pat Byrne, for those who don't know me, I know Pat Byrne very well, and he will have a little pamphlet reading and outlining the dividend and showing Pat Byrne. I'm sure we'd love to take that to the SEC, whoever's in charge, and show them how to investigate this stock for the dividend and the fails to deliver. So I'm looking at a stock that is $2 that has very good fundamentals as far as I can see. I'm not going to tell you I'm an analyst, but I've been following it for a while. The company has real fundamentals. It's funded. They don't need to raise money. They don't need to go to Wall Street anymore. The CEO said he's on the verge of being profitable. So that makes that this whole thing of a startup is way past it. And these buffoons are trying to hold it down at $2. And William, I always tell everybody, if they thought they can win, they let the stock go higher. Why not? If you're going to short a stock, why not short it at $10, $20? Why is the race always trying to hold it down? Don't let it go up a nickel. People, this stock, it's like pulling teeth to go up a nickel. Just remember, if you want to sell your stock, do you want to sell it at $3 or you like to sell it down to $2? And you can see the pattern. The stock traded up to 233, and it always comes back with 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 to sell it. Who wants to sell it for less money? A naked short seller who cannot meet margin. When the stock breaks on the upside, they have to put up a lot of money. And when their prime brokers don't see the capital to back up these trades, they turn around and tell the short sellers that buying them in, meaning start covering the short. And you can see the pressure just keeps coming and coming. They were selling stock the other day. My daughter went to buy 3,000 at 177. They sold it through at 172. I mean, just trying to mark it down at all costs every day. Just hurry up, mark it down, mark it down. And the only reason they attack it like this now is because they're in a panic because they can read the end is coming. They know it's coming. Okay, just remember that if you're the short seller, what would you do? I'd be doing everything. This company has withstood the fake short and distort story from Capybara. He's not an Andrew Left. He's just some scumbag out of Brazil posting things offshore, writing negative stories. Their whole network of using Ben Zinger, getting distribution to get the negative stories on all your trading platforms. This is like a crime family, these guys. And Andrew Left just got busted for this. He's going to trial September 24th. If you look online, there's plenty of stories about them all starting to give each other up. Just like we said, these guys are going to jail, and the first that starts to sing gets the best deal. They all start to tumble. There's a story up there that can show you that some of the bad guys out of Canada are already offered the DOJ $50 million to reduce the charges, and they told them no. So the DOJ is serious going after these characters now. They've been destroying the stock market, stealing from investors, destroying companies with false stories. They've been doing it for a while. All right. And Pat Byrne actually busted Mark Cahotes back in the day on the same story. And I could put that up again and show you how he caught them. So we have the number one guy in the world on our side. We got these Piker crook shorts, Lynn Partners out of Madison Avenue in New York City, short 230 million shares. Now remember, Lynn Partners signs the deal with the company. They use their LLC, whatever it is, Lynn Partner LLC. They sign the paper saying we will not short the stock. Well, guess what? Lynn Partner's mom does it, or his cousin, or his friend. Somebody's doing it for them. And I just put up a link to Judd Bagley, that was Pat Byrne's guy, how they did it to a company called Sedona. Sedona is just like Finger Motion. Their toxic lender was Amro Advisors. And in the companies of Finger Motion, it was Lynn Partners. The naked short got caught, and he was Rhino advisors. They fled the country. Okay, they're the ones that destroyed Sedona. It was Rhino. We don't know the name of the LLC Lynn Partners is using. We read documents that Lynn Partners' prime broker is Jeffries. So when Lynn Partners does go belly up, Jeffries is going to take the hit for it. All right. So I have always told people when Finger Motion starts to go, Jeffries is probably the short. All right. That's when you short it, Jeffries, because they're going to take a beating for it. All right. Just like Credit Suisse did. Credit Suisse went out of business because they were giving leverage through bad hedge fund managers. That's what happens. Here today, gone tomorrow. All right. So when Finger Motion goes, Jeffries is a short. I believe that when Pat Byrne gets into office, VIRT is going to be zero. They're just a bunch of traders that can't trade, and all they do is naked short. Once that the leverage is taken away, these guys will all be out of business. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, one person was pointing out that on GDC that they stopped trading 3 times today, and I don't know. It wasn't really a question, but
listen. GDC is off my radar.
okay.
I don't care about it. I don't care about it anymore. I don't want to speak about it.
All right.
If you didn't trade it, you want to keep playing it, God bless you. That's your business. All right. I told you all I know about GDC is I know the symbol GDC. That's it. We were told to look at it. We got involved. We followed it. I didn't know any information about it. And it just took off as a big short, and we just happened to be around it. That's how it works. And a lot of people made a lot of money, okay, following us. So God bless you. Good luck. I don't like to look in what you do, but if you don't know how to trade by now, that's your business. I'm not here to trade for you. So as far as I'm concerned, see you later. It can go to 1,000. I don't care.
Okay.
That's your business. That's your business. There's not, I'm not following. I'm not putting energy. I'm only following one stock, and that's FNGR. I look at other names from here to there. If I hear something, I'll tell you. But for the most part, I'm only focusing on Finger Motion. We got 55 days. Tomorrow it'll be 54. Today's Friday. It's 55. We start Monday. It's at 54. Those are trading days. That's not actual days.
So Not Legal Advice wants to know, what is your single best trade ever? No, he didn't say that. He said hello to pork loin.
So this was my best trade ever. You ready?
Okay. He didn't ask you. I was being a jerk.
Well, I want you guys to know it. You ready? This is the best trade of all time. Okay, just give me 1 second.
The condo that you showed up for and the keys didn't work?
No, that was a bad trade. So the best trade ever, I got a call to buy United Airlines. I think this was in 1987. I think we bought equivalent to 3 million shares between options and stock. I was working on a trading desk, and I was told to buy. It was $95. And we were supposed to be a risk off firm. We were risk arbitrage. We weren't supposed to be straight long, 3 million shares of anything. But I was told to be there. 1 month goes by, 2 months go by. We're just flipping it back and forth just to make some money on when the stock popped up. We sell some options that we bought at $1, we sell them at $2, we buy them back, and just punching around. We're up $200,000-$300,000 in the movement. It's not really moving the stock. It's 95, 97, 95, 97, back and forth. I had to go to London for business. I come back, and my brother was in charge. And it's been 2 months, and he said, "Listen, we can't stay anymore." He sold it. 3 days later, Marvin Davis came out and made a bid for United Airlines from 95. It was called the Allegis back then. Allegis. It was 95. He made a $300 bid for the company. It went up 200. It went up 200, and it went to 325. And we had sold it, and we didn't profit from it.
Oh, Lordy. How many calls did you have?
Thousands of them.
Oh my gosh. Well, you would have lost it in a marriage or something.
To make it even better. Now, I'm not here. I was in London. to make it even better, my older brother knew I'd be pissed at him. He went out and bought the $325 calls because he thought that he made a low bid, right? And 5 days later, he canceled his bid. The stock crashed and the market crashed with it. So we lost money then. How's that one?
That's
So
chasing yesterday's story and
that is that just shows you that you
making
win,
it worse.
you lose. That's how it works.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody. So when people say, "Oh, I missed it," I'm like looking at it saying, "Guys, as long as you make money, that's the most important thing you can do. Don't ever look back on your trades. If you're gonna sit there and keep yourself in the ass on every trade, then you need to quit now. Because otherwise, you're just gonna go in the room and kill yourself. It's not worth it. All right. So
That's a good story. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, I'm just focusing on finger.
Well, one question on the warrant. When do they go into effect? It's 10 days. When I read the rules in my memory, once it's approved, the company needs to give 10 days notice to the world before the record date. So you'll have, and that's real days, not trading days. So there'll be some sort of announcement, and you'll have approximately a week to get into the stock before the record date.
If you just go read, hold on, Pat Burns. Here's the story of how Patrick Burns' final act at Overstock crushed short sellers. You just Google it, it's right there, it's on Bloomberg. I'm just going to read part of it. The flurry of short covering comes a week before the record date for his dividend, the company unveiled. Okay, so he announced the dividend, and these guys panicked before the dividend came. Pat Byrne also loves, in the story, he has an obsession with blockchain. So I can see the U.S. equity markets moving towards blockchain because that's what Pat Byrne, he knows that is a killer. All right, if you wrote something else here I wanted to say, I can't blank on it right now.
Blue Star loves blockchain.
Right. But anyway, you can read that story. It's right there. He talks about his dividend. It's right there from Patrick Byrne. It's from September 16, 2019. All right. So it's already been proven. It's right there. You got to remember, you're fighting everybody here. But the best thing is the guy had crushed short sellers, crushed them, is on our team and will be heading up at the SEC. Just go listen to what he said. I retweeted it before. It's all right there. The information's there. Do your homework. Again, you have free inside information. People go to jail for inside information. You have Donald Trump throwing out the head of the SEC. You have Patrick Byrne telling you he's coming in to clean up naked short selling. 55 days. They're telling you when it's going to happen. And what's the event that's going to happen? Stock settlement. What does that mean, stock settlement? That means if you're short and you're not delivering shares and you're selling counterfeit shares, someone's going to force you to deliver real shares. That's 55 days out. 55 days out. They're basically telling you, hey, Finger Motion or whatever stock you want to go play is going to get a big move to the upside because there's a short position. Because Pat Byrne's coming in and they're not going to allow it anymore. The trade is to the long side now. Go pick your stocks, pick whatever one you want to go play. I found my play. It was like in Toy Story. I found my traveling partner, moving partner. That's what she said. Little Bo Peep said too about Buzz Lightyear. Find your own. Don't like what we're seeing? Go find your own. I'm following Finger Motion. It's been driven down from 7 on a fake report by Kappa Barrel. Millions and millions of shares sold in our face, pushing it down. The company on April 29th rang the bell at the NASDAQ. It was upgraded to the NASDAQ. Or it wasn't downgraded. It was upgraded to list on the NASDAQ. They came in from Europe, from Asia. They rang the bell. All the people were there. Everyone's excited. The video is right there. You can Google it yourself. The company has announced 2 or 3 new deals on top of their old deals. And for those who are new, and there's some new people here, this company has deals signed with Munich Re, Pacific Life Re. That's a $50 billion market cap company, Munich Re. Pacific is a $10 billion. They have a deal signed with AIZ, a $10 billion New York Stock Exchange company, China Mobile, China Unicom. The Chinese government just gave them a deal to install technology in every emergency vehicle in China. They're the only one that has a license to do that, just on the tape. And some idiot is short this stock. I don't know what to tell you. I've done my homework. This is the place to be. I can't tell you to buy it, sell it, do what you want. But I like to buy stocks when people aren't paying attention to it. If you're looking for fast action, go back and play GDC. Up, down, sideways. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the next minute. I'm a believer in trading those things. You buy the dips, sell the rips. That's what I believe. You want to hold on to it, you hold on. You know, but I know nothing about it. In finger motion, I know every gory detail for years now. Not some details, every detail. And if anyone has a question about it, ask now.
Well, one gentleman is asking if you have a strategy for buying calls on fingers, September,
I
October.
just gave you the answer.
All right.
It's 55 days away from the election. So what would I do? I would buy, I'm a believer in here. Let me look at the options. Well, you know the dividend's coming, right?
Yeah.
So I look at it this way. I like to buy cheap calls. All right. The September 20th, 28 days away. You know, if you bought this stock, let's say you buy 5,000 shares, William. All right. And you buy 50 calls at the September 4th at a dime. A finger motion goes from 225 to 250. You sell your stock and you own the calls for free. Right? You have to do is make 10 cents. All right. So you're risking 10 cents if you want to buy options in September, right? For the fours. If you want to go out a little bit further, the Novembers are the fives are 20 cents. If this is going to squeeze, it's not going to $5. It's going to 500. It's going to 1,000. But again, you have to, an option is something that time is a killer on. So if I had to play it based on Pat Byrne becoming, with Donald Trump winning, if you wanted to play exactly to the date, you can't buy the fours. I would buy the fives. They're 20 cents. You can buy the sixes at 15 cents. It's throwaway money as far as I'm concerned. If you buy the stock and it rallies, you could sell the stock up 20 cents and go buy those calls for free and go trade IBM the rest of your days and never look back again.
Well, that's
Imagine if you were doing it in a GDC. You buy the stock at 6, you sell it at 7. It pulls back to 6, you buy it, sell it at 8. You could do that, then you go buy the 10 calls. Imagine just doing that all day, and you all of a sudden you went from the 10s to who's buying there are no options in GDC. Imagine the $10 calls, what would they be, 20 cents? You say, it's never going past 10. And then boom, today it goes to 12. Those options probably went from, if we were buying them at 10 cents, I'm just making believe, those options would have went to $3. All right, that's the type of things that I like to do. But that's the timing. I just told you the timing. It's 55 trading days. Monday's 54. The SEC is telling you, or Pat Byrne and Donald Trump are telling you. Remember, Donald Trump has his own headaches with DJT.
right.
And now they're bringing on RFK. What did he say? He bought GameStop because he knows the short squeeze is there. So now you have him on board. Devin Nunes is on board. You got Elon Musk chase the shorts. We have everybody. The other side has no one left standing. They're all going to be thrown out.
Wow.
Of the race.
Powell just said time has come for policy to adjust. So I guess interest rates are coming down. That'll fuel a rally in the market.
No, anyway, so I don't really care about that. I care about this stock settlement. We got a stock that's down from 7 straight down, only on good news. Only on good news. And we never bowed away. We stood tall. We stand here, report on it every day. We had the truck out there 2 weeks ago in the lobby of the SEC. Not in, you can't, it was 20 feet from the front door. Am I correct, William? 25 feet?
Well, it was as close as you could get. And
right. So you can't get any closer. It's a glass building. I have a shareholder that owns Finger Motion who told me his father-in-law is an SEC enforcement guy, and he believes that they're following our lead. That's what he told me. Keep the truck going there. He says the SEC is following your lead. We had it out there in GTII. The Kramers got pinched, right? We had it out there. We threw Andrew Left on the bus. We had all these people out there. Short, Distort, Kappa Barra. We got Timothy Sykes. There's more criminals to go. There's plenty of them. Remember, these guys they use these fake stories as cover. So Andrew Left would put the story out, and all the bandits would come behind him and short it behind him. And they use the story as cover of why they're selling it. So when they get a letter saying, "Hey, why did you short the stock?" "Oh, Andrew Left did it." They blame him. Well, now their leader got shot. The general got shot. Now it's next. Who they're going to blame next? You don't see the stories anymore. But again, if you look at it, I'm a guy that I'm not looking for stock for volatility. I'm not looking for danger anymore. Danger is playing GDC right now. You got in, everyone that I know, and I couldn't care less if someone heard it from somewhere else. We've been here from the beginning. So we would like, for example, Goldman Sachs telling their clients to get into buy the US dollar, then it takes off. Someone that buys it at the top, Goldman Sachs doesn't give a shit. I don't give a shit. If you paid $9 or $10 for it, you're an idiot. All right? That's Wall Street. We're not here to do that. You want to go and gamble, go to a casino. I like to buy things that are going sideways, slow moving, and when they do come from them, that's when you get your reward. I don't believe in jumping into to the fire pit, while it's getting, before, while it's in action, while it's going on. That's how I play. Any questions, William?
well, there's for me a confusing one. Just because I don't know anything about it, but about Finger on the last 13D, the largest shareholder early exercised, granted, but not tradable. He's calling them calls. They must have been options far above the current price. And he wanted your thoughts. Apparently the calls had an expiration in 2 years, December, at 238. The guy early exercised every call he could when the stock was just under $2. I don't know anything about it. I have to read.
I don't know anything about it, but as far as I'm concerned, there's people in this company, the people that are behind this company. I met with William when they rang the bell in New York City at a dinner, and there was probably 60 people there, all from Asia. I was at a table with people that I know from Singapore and Malaysia, and they are like myself. They won't believe this company is going to 100. So not even talking about a short squeeze. So I'm going along with the people that live in that region, know what's going on. The stock has been held down unfairly, and now it's payback time. That's how I look at it. All right, so I may be wrong. I may not go to 2,000, but you know what? It's going up anyway, so I could care less.
Okay, Timothy Yikes is thanking overly aggressive short sellers for sacrificing and shorting junk companies like GDC and creating all the action for himself and his followers to make money. Yeah, he's a dyke.
He says it after the stock hit 12. Listen, that's a short squeeze. Shorts got destroyed. Real investors, like I'm trying to teach you, they are just playing against you. This guy's a scumbag.
Yeah, he is.
Okay? He's basically saying we're taking advantage of the short squeeze. Well, they're going after shorts. Longs all bought it below 3. He doesn't say we should tell them about we all pay below 3, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
We paid below 3. It's went to 12. Fuck you.
He's
We
a-
know how to short a stock. We know when a company's overvalued. He's speaking for day traders at these day trading firms. They all got roasted. When this stock started to squeeze to 12, everyone that's short was shitting their pants. Trust me. You don't know if it's going to 12, it's going to 50 or 2. You have no idea.
Yeah.
There's professional shorts in here now. The game is in play. Up, down, sideways. That's not for my. I don't play those games.
So
Right? You got in early. You got out. You made money. Take it off your screen. Don't look
Yeah.
back.
and that's the safest profit is that first movement. Then you go on to the next one. There's always another train coming to the subway station. On your GDC, did you trade out of your own position? This guy's asking. Are you happy? Are you happy?
Yes. Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you. Yeah, you.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I don't look back. I just told you that's the way to get. That's the way to get.
And you got out at 5?
I got probably 6.25.
Oh, you sold some and kept selling it as it went up. Yeah, good.
I told you not to do that, so I sold some. I got all my money off the table. Listen, I was upside down in this stock in a big way. I didn't get the low price. I bought stock at the bottom to average down, but I was in high.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to get out and make $3.50 on it, that's good enough for me because I was down $2.50.
Right.
Right? So I had a reversal of $5. I don't care where it went. Okay, this is not something that I'm following. I only know the symbol.
Right.
You know what? If I would have got the call and the stock went from down to where I was started to buy it at 380, if I would have got the call at $1, I'd be, I would have made a fortune. But I didn't. I got in at the wrong time. Right?
Well, you didn't know it at the time, and that's.
No, I had no idea. I don't know when they're going to stop and turn. I never gave up on it. I believed in the people that were buying it. And just for that, just to address what you just said to me, my first purchase in Finger Motion was December 31st, 2019 or 18. I think it was the last day in 2018.
Yeah.
It was 287. The company just got the contract for the Chinese top up, which I thought was enormous, right?
Right.
The stock is where at 2.25. I'm down 50 cents. Okay, on stock from a company that had one contract. The company's got 50 contracts now, but deals with everybody in the world, fully financed. Before it was a speculative play. Now it's 5 years later, 4.5 years later. And this is a completely different company, 100 times better, ready to explode, and the price is lower. How does that happen?
Fair market.
So just like that, I just heard what I said. Now go back and look at the movie The Big Short. Michael Burry got in, all those crazy guys got in, shorting the housing market. They got in too early, correct?
Yeah.
Too early. I got in too early, right? But in the end, he made $2.7 billion. So if you believe you're right, you stick in your way. Up, down, trust me, I got the same heartaches as Michael Burry. You're scratching the head. Everybody's screaming at him, you're wrong, you're creep, you're wrong, blah, 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 like it's my fault. It says in the movie it said the rating agencies were all fraudulent. We don't have the rating agencies. We have the stock settlement, the stock loan departments, the prime brokers, the shorts. They're all crooked. And that time has come now where it's going to reverse. And if it doesn't reverse, you're all going to get wiped out. So that's it. We got 55 days to go.
What are your thoughts on DJT?
DJT, my thoughts, I have one thought about it.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has to enforce the stock settlement, and he has to do it before he's president. Or he's going to do it right after president. That's it. I told you before, Finger Motion is a $2 stock. The volatility in it what's the volatility? 0. Right. DJT, they're going to make it swing back and forth. What do you mean swing back and forth? Look at GDC. How's the volatility in this thing? You turn around, it's 7.25, turn around, it's 8.5, turn around, it's 12, turn around, it's 7.5 again. That's volatility. Volatility is like King Kong shaking a tree, hoping people fall out of it. That's what volatility, that's what they're trying to do. That is not normal trading, what you're seeing. Those are shorts in trouble. They jam it up, they drop it fast, they try to get people to sell. All right? And the best thing that happened in GDC, it was a slow march up. Finger motion is a slow march up. There's no volatility. They tried to create volatility by hitting the bids, like they just did now. They just sold stock. The stock was 225, 226, and they printed at 222. What's the race to sell it? They're not even trading the stock. It's all been on the upswing. All right, but that's what they do.
So
All right,
Donna,
mark it down.
Donna wants you to know she bought GDC, sold it, and that she's putting her profits into Finger. So she thanks you.
Well, if you have any questions, feel free. You make your own decisions, and I hope it works out for you. I can promise you this, I won't stop until I carry these guys out. So that I can promise you. Again, I'm not a police officer, but if we have the most powerful man in the world, the number one guy in short selling, the richest guy in the world, Elon Musk, the former head of Intel community, Devin Nunes, I'm going to stick with that side of the fence. We got Elon Musk, we got Pat Byrne, we got Donald Trump, we got Devin Nunes, and we're going against Jeff Easton. And Jeff Easton's name, I promise you, will be like shit all over the place in DC. And it's our people in charge. He doesn't control the game anymore. He's lost control.
He can go back to day trading Yahoo. He's good at
He can go
that.
back to day trading Yahoo. Let's see how good he does.
Do it from prison.
Right. Andrew Left thought he was a superstar, right? Where's he going? Jail. All those guys, the Anson Fund. Go read about the Anson Fund and with the big frog on it. The stories all over the place. Go read up on that. That's who we've been fighting for years, all these criminals selling it through Canada, Canaccord, that other broke firm out of Canada, beefs. They're all beefs.
Bob also sold, and what a poodle, what a good poodle. Bob sold GDC and bought Finger. So it's finally we're getting a little bit of money made to move to something else while it's inexpensive.
Well, again, you're buying something that's inexpensive. If Finger Motion was 20, I would be very leery to tell people to even look at it because the volatility, they can attack it. Imagine buying a stock at $22 and you turn around it's 18 before you even paid for it. That's scary. And I got it. When there's no volatility, like you're seeing in Finger Motion, we're up and down a quarter. What's the rush? There's nothing going on. I had a friend of mine that wanted to buy 3,000 shares, and he was nervous about it. I said, hey, again, I just explained, if it was volatile like these other stocks, I could never even advise you to do it. But a stock that's doing nothing, going sideways, up 20 cents, down 20 cents, whatever it is, up in this range. If you're really nervous and you buy it at $2 and it's $2, you can sell it in 20 days at $2, and what's the big deal? Up and down a quarter, right? But imagine if you buy it. I had someone tell me, posted on Twitter to me that I'm wrong. The stock's going to $1 in Finger Motion. I'm waiting to buy it at $1. The shorts are going to knock it down to $1. So to me, it sounded like a basher. Why would you even, let's waste your time? I can't tell you how many times in the stock market I said I was going to wait to buy something to buy it on a pullback. That's just the way I play. All right. I wasn't going to chase something that was up $1.25. I have stock in my mind. I forget. I think it was Campbell Soup, maybe, or whatever, one of those crazy names back, or Avon. And I wanted to wait. The stock ticked down. It was only at 60. I said, no, I'm not buying it. I'm going to wait. Well, the next day it opened up 12 points higher because I was waiting. I was told to buy it. Now I look at it this way. This is over years of experience. Instead of waiting like I did and missing the whole play, I was always told, buy 10%. So if I wanted to buy 1,000 shares, I buy 100 shares. At least if it goes up 12 points, I have 10% of my position. And when I used to get orders from big funds, my first thing I did was buy 10%. No matter what, if I had $1 million to buy, I bought 100,000.
Whatever the price.
Right? I had to get in. You have to get in.
Yeah.
Because when they call you back and say, let's say they're going to buy, IBM, and I only, I got 1 million to buy, and I buy 100,000 shares, and the stock jumps up 10 points. They're going to call you back. What did you do? I bought 100,000 shares. Okay, at least you got something. If you sit there and say, I was trying to get you a better price, I didn't get anything, you'll never get an order again.
And that's why professional traders, they want to make something on their idea. They don't have to make it all. There was a big producer, famous person in my office, and she used to just try to build quarter positions, half positions, just have something like Cam's talking about. You don't have to own it all. You don't have to buy it all at the right price.
You
Just-
got listen.
Just be in it.
If I got into Finger, I thought I got in early. I thought I discovered a company that was up and coming, was working to get control of the payment in the Chinese market, which is enormous. All right, so I got in early. Getting in early, I should be rewarded. I got in early, and I'm a loser. How's that possible? Just like the Big Short, they got in early, and I'm a loser. And they were losers until the end. So I'm not going anywhere. I've been here for a long time. I'm not here for this stock to go up $2. I'm not here for that. I already watched it come down from 10. I'm not going away. All right, so I'm not here for that. The more these guys keep piling wood on here, they never thought that we would stay around this long and go to battle with them. They never thought that at the end of the day, that we would control the president of the United States and that we would have Patrick Byrne to be our leader going after the DTC and the SEC and the stock settlement system. Goldman Sachs isn't calling the shot, Ken Griffin. We have Pat Byrne. Pat Byrne doesn't take shit from anyone. And if you don't know him, I put up a bunch of videos. Go Google him yourself. Go watch his videos. Go see the fight that I was part of in the beginning. The whole thing. It's right there. All right? And I can get to him in 10 minutes. And I have a whole booklet, and it's on one stop. Finger motion. That's it. It's a classic study. It's something that, hopefully you guys learned, trading in GDC, you guys got an experience to get in early, see how it turned and how it really worked on a short squeeze. All right? You guys all got a chance. You don't learn that in Harvard Business School. You learned it from the street. All right? So I hope you learned that you sell it when it runs, buy the dips, sell it. I had guys call me up. They were 7 for 8 trading on this thing all day, the last 5 days. Thanking me because they learned how to do it.
What's
I
the
don't ask how
widget?
much money you make. I don't ask any of those questions. As long as you have a question, I have no problem answering.
What's a
Again,
widget?
excuse me?
What's a widget? Do you remember that scene from Back to School when he was in business school,
Yeah.
Rodney?
Because you're living in fairyland or something.
What was I gonna? Oh, I don't understand. I can't read it, but apparently Chuck Schwab's market cap is down quite a bit from a lawsuit. But I can't. Is it Trotted? I don't know what lawsuit. But
No, I think Charles Schwab was down because TD Bank was selling their stake in it, something like that, or something. 'Cause I didn't know. Something like that. I thought I saw that the other day. I'm not sure.
yeah, okay.
Listen, just to ask you a question, how does every companies working on cancer, this or Kilo, extending life, or finger motion in the Chinese market, whatever it may be, always under attack. And I look at stocks like Jeffries just moving up $1.23, making a new high. Insiders are selling. Everything goes against them. Goldman Sachs. I saw Goldman Sachs trade down to 423, and it's gone back to 508, up another $11. No matter what they do, they just make money. How is that possible? That these guys, they just keep making money.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, everybody else, we should all become brokerage firms. If I do anything else. How do brokerage firms that do nothing, build no businesses, okay, just keep making money? Banks are catching them beating, but the brokerage firms always are picking the right stocks. They always got the right investments. How's that possible? It's impossible. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All they do is go up. They never go down. Every other company's at risk, not the brokerage firms. They get money from the government. Everything they do is correct. Everything. Meanwhile, I know guys that were great traders. All broke, they got busted out so many times. Yeah, these things just keep going up. That's what they're robbing everybody. And Donald Trump said yesterday, it's time for us to unite. And he's tired about the financial institutions, robbing us all the time.
Oh, it's trout. It's a trout. Oh, it's a lawsuit about MMTLP. Well, maybe it's down for that, but I believe Ham's explanation better.
Listen, the MMTLP thing is a disgrace. Okay, it's just remarkable the effort that people have put in, and that the SEC, it just shows you what a disgrace this whole U.S. equity market is. And I want people to understand that. And it's hard for me to tell you to invest in anything unless you're a cop. Where does it say that investors on these calls, okay, have to basically invest and then stand and listen to me and William or anybody else talk about your stock? We're like therapists. We have to everybody has to get on a couch. Oh, you invested? Oh my God, you're gonna get, we have to talk you off a ledge. You have to fight for your investment. I have to fight for my investment I've been on the front line for 6 years doing this nonsense. Not 24 years really, but I've been following Finger Motion for 5 years. I thought I found something that my family could make a lot of money in. I turned it into a nightmare, fighting criminals. I can't let these guys steal my money. I'm not letting them do it. So
World War II started and finished in 6 years.
Right. I'm still here 24 years. How many trillions of shares have these guys sold? You see all the time. Oh, Goldman mismarked, 5 billion shares of stock. This guy, 10 million shares of stock. They always tell you how many shares they sold, but they never tell you the symbols of the stocks that these guys sold, right?
Right.
Always like that. Listen, I know it sounds like a broken record. I'm only focused on Finger Motion. These other names, they come and they go. You want to make some money? I hope you made some money. And God bless you. I hope you did. And it's a lesson learned. If you chase GDC and paid 7 or paid 9 because you thought you were missing out on something, you're a fool. Okay? If you bought it at 6 and you flipped it at 9 and it pulled back to 7 and you bought it and it goes below 7, you bought it at 6, you made $3. So 7 minus 3, you own it at 4. That's the proper way to trade because there's always risk, but you keep lowering your risk. That's why you buy the dip, sell the rip. So if I buy it at 6 and I sold it at 9, I made $3. If it pulls back to 7, okay, and it goes to 6, I'm down $1 now, but I made 3, so I'm still up 2. That's buy the dip, sell the rip. There's risk all the time, and as they keep making it swing wild, now the shorts are trying to attack GDC. The company's no good. The butcher, the baker. Hey, why don't they settle the trades? How can a company with a couple of million shares in the float trade 200 million shares in 3 days? How's that happen?
So Jason bought GDC at 191, sold it at 4 and 5. He's totally happy, and he moved it all into Finger.
Listen, that's how you're supposed to do it. That's how you're supposed to do it. And when the sellers in Finger stop, and you can see the manipulation from 3 weeks ago to today has changed, right?
Right.
Whenever the stock stopped trading, like it is right now, 224, 226. 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden they'd be printed one share. I posted it, 23 shares. They would be trying to mark it down. It's not as aggressive as it was before. All right. Behind the scenes, these guys do have problems we don't know about. Right? We know that the street, I told you about that a couple of weeks ago, that Wall Street people said that there were subpoenas flying. I told you that people are getting served. All right, so this thing is starting to spread out. All right. Now the short seller in Tinger, we know it's not Lynn Partners. We all know it's not Lynn Partners, but we know it's Lynn Partners' cousin. And we know it's his mother, his cousin, his brother. Somebody's doing it for more sure. They're doing it someplace. So while Lynn is being served or whatever's going on in their office, the problem is, down the block, around the corner, somewhere else is where that money is being held, or that short position. So again, it's a network. These guys, once they start going to jail, which is going to start happening September 24th, that's when Andrew Left has to go. Andrew Left has to roll the dice. He has to go to court, get a deal done before he goes to court. If a jury finds him guilty, which is most likely, once they find him guilty, he's going to jail for a long time. So what do you think he's going to do? He's not rolling the dice, because going in front of a jury, anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Andrew Left. What did he do? Oh, he shorted the stock, made up a fake story, drove it down 10. People lost millions of dollars. The company got destroyed, and the jury's going to look at him and say, "Wait a second, I own that stock. I know that story. They're going to hang him." So he has to basically cut a deal before he goes there, because anybody can figure out when you hear that story what they did. And Etsy's the best one of all time is when he tried to bash EXAS, which is the colon cancer company.
No one gets that anymore.
And he was on TV on CNBC having a conversation with the CEO, the guy who invented the product, telling me it's a waste of time. No one's ever going to do it. Well, I took the test. I did it that way. Okay. Doctor told me to go do it. It worked out perfect. He was bashing it, telling people to sell the stock. It's going lower. Well, the stock did go lower. I think it was $28. It went down to $23. I had friends of mine that lost money in it. Well, it turned around. Then it turned around. I used to call him wrong way left all the time. It went from there. It went to 125, and Bristol Myers took a stake in him. So Andrew Left had people bail out, hurt the company. Who knows what damage he did? And if the stock wasn't knocked down, maybe Bristol Myers would have paid more, right? Because they were holding it down, right? So the damage that is caused by these guys.
Here's
Yeah.
This gentleman's pointing out a stock that, as he calls it, starting to run. Momentous, Mary Nancy Tom Snyder, MNTS. And he's right, it's gone from like 63 cents, it's $1.49. But if you go back 3 years, I can't quite tell on my chart, but it was like 1,500 a share. And it's just straight down. They just destroyed it, took all the juice out of it, and now it's having, I guess it'll.
Passing it on. So the gentleman that's bringing that to our attention.
No, it might be breaking out. I don't know.
No. Just saying that the gentleman that's bringing that to our attention, he's making money off all the dead bodies that lived in this company 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Those people all sitting here saying, "Oh, stock's going." William, how many shares do you have in the company you raised money for? How many did you sell?
Oh, I had 300,000. Sorry, I had in that one. I had 150,000. I had to split it with my partner. So that business partner. So it's 150. I now have one share.
So that is the damage.
And it's trading for $4. When I got it, it was in pounds, but now that was probably worth close to $2. It was close to $300,000. And the company's done fantastically. It's done everything it said to do. I now have one share with $4.
Right, that's what they do. CELU did that. Root did that. A fuel cell is doing it again. That's what's going to happen to that stock. KNW, it's 30 cents. These guys keep diluting it. And then they're going to have to reverse the stocks, and they all do the same thing. CELU did it. I was in the guy's office. I told him, "Don't take the money." He took it from Yorkville, another toxic crook. All right. They all do the same thing. It's remarkable.
Are you allowed to talk about MLSS?
Am I allowed to talk about MLSS?
Yeah.
I can talk about it. I
don't know anything.
I purchased it yesterday. I think it bought 15,000 shares at $1.
Okay.
I'm told that, people on Wall Street are telling me to buy it, and that there's the company is getting a major contract from the government, and the company could go a lot. That's all I know about that. That's
Good enough.
The company's got $5 million in the bank. I did some research on it. The company's got fundamentals. Da 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 da. I assume they have a big short position in it. They all do. So that's what I did. I'm not here. That's all I know about it.
All right, all right. And then somebody's asking for your Twitter. He changed it to something Trump.
Yeah, they kicked me off of. Listen, the final frontier is got to be Trump and Pat Byrne. All right, that's that's the final thing. So, I'm not here to fight with Democrats. People if you want to vote for those people, God bless you, because this is all about financial freedom. And no one's giving you money. I don't think anybody from the Republican side or Democrat side is giving anybody money. This is all about Pat Byrne to me. So, to me, if Trump doesn't get in, I'm not a political guy. The only time I ever did anything political when I was probably 7 years old, I gave out flyers for Nixon. That's how long ago it's been. I don't follow this stuff. to get caught into this nonsense is just people act like they're getting money. No one gets anything from anybody. We want to have safety for our family, and I want to make money for myself. I'm not looking for a handout. And the only way I know how to make money is in the equity market. So to me, it's Trump and Pat Byrne. So I don't even know what the hell the stupid name of my thing is anymore. It's still Ham, whatever the hell it's called. I got kicked off. Everybody knows.
I'll see if I can look it up. It's
it is. Here it is. It's once again. It's at Ham 59591 shorts. And the only reason it's that stupid long is because for some reason
there's a lot of hams.
There's a lot of people want to be Ham. I don't understand it. So we tried every combination of numbers and names, and it just kept getting worse. So I just my daughter did it for me. I'm saying that guy can't take it anymore. It is what it is.
Steve Mertz bought GDC at 222 average, sold it at 10, and he's buying finger calls. He's buying finger calls. So he thanks you. There's a lot of people that likes that trade.
That's a great. He stood long at the dance. Good for him.
Yeah, that's and the Winged Wolf made 4x on GDC. He thanks you. This gentleman is buying finger at half his average with the profits. This other guy. So it's good.
Listen, this is how I feel about finger motion. This is my opinion. I tell everyone I know, you at least have to own. And just think about it. If you just bought 100 shares of GDC, okay, you just learned how to trade a short squeeze. You got to see them beat it down, all right, without a panic, and you got to see the rewards when they do cover. You learned how to trade a short squeeze. Everyone on this phone call now sounds like they have some good idea on how it works. And the only reason they have a good idea about it now is because they invested in it and you get to see it happen. Right. So you have real-time experience now.
Right.
So that is important that you don't get anywhere by looking at these things and say, I don't want to play that one. I don't do this. But you don't have to buy a million shares, a very stupid name out there. Like this stupid stock I'm hearing MLSS. Buy one share, see what happens. See if we're right. I don't know. The person that told me about it is a very good guy on Wall Street. So he called me up and I asked him, I said, should I tell my kids to buy? He says, absolutely. That's good enough for me.
So this gentleman bought GDC at 2, hasn't sold yet. He stood there like a statue of liberty, but he's wondering, he doesn't have a lot, but he's wondering, where would you sell it next week if it traded?
Well, I can tell you this, okay, based on my experience. If the shorts can't get control of it, which it doesn't look like they're able to, the stock is going higher. They try to get it down on the day and it pops back up again. They're having a tough time trying to hold it down. So there's obviously something going on here. There's a good chance it rips. There's a good chance it goes to the moon. I don't know. but I don't want to get involved in it. I'm happy what I did, and I just move on.
And
That's how look at it.
I think your question in terms of timing is a good one. A lot of shorts take weeks and all that. I personally, I don't think I'd stay longer than next week, but you judge it
Like I said, I
yourself.
just sat down. It was 7:40. Now it's 8:14 again.
Yeah.
Listen. I don't know how many shares you own, but if you sold half here and held on to the rest and don't even look at it, you never have to ask that question again, right?
Right.
So that's what you do. You sell half of it, and you got half a position, and see what happens. So let it go. Maybe it goes to $50 for you. Good luck.
So John, middle name Platinum Crossan, he sold his GDC to cover his original investment and make a little, and he's letting the rest ride, and that's perfectly.
As long as everyone, it sounds to me like people are finally understanding about taking your money off the table, let it ride. You can go. You don't have to worry. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to stare at it all day. And I hope people have taken that advice and understand it now.
Bill Michael is asking you if you remember Debdrion Pharmaceuticals. He made
the end.
That's it. The NDN. He made $1.2 million in 2 days. Bill Michael.
That's how it goes. It went to 25, I think.
I'm never speaking to Bill Michael again.
He went from, I think it went from like $3 or $4 to 25 or $27.
Whew. Whew.
And they shorts killed it, drove it out of business. And they were working on, I think it was colon cancer. I forgot what it was.
No one gets colon cancer. Don't worry about that. We'll just let the shorts run wild. Axe One bought a bunch of finger at 191.
There you go. Like I said, everyone should tell a friend to own one share, at least get the education on how to trade it. Once it goes, you can learn how to trade it. Just like in GDC. You all learned how to trade now, only because you have experience and you've seen it happen.
And the thing is, you don't fall in love with a stock. You sell a little bit. I mean, if you like Ham's example, yeah.
Well, William, just this example, my knowledge of GDC was a symbol. That's why I didn't fall in love with it. If this was finger motion when it went to 12, I wouldn't even flinch. I would have sold a little bit and said, okay, when it pulls back, I would have bought it back at 7. No fear at all, because I still believe that what I know is going to happen. So it's a little different. I have no knowledge of the stock. I look at it as a gift from the gods. Everyone made a few bucks, and that's how I look at it.
Right.
And I'm staying with, I believe I have the home run on, I have the information on, I've studied it, and that's what I'm staying with.
Right.
That's the only reason that I took any profits in that stock, is because I know nothing about it. I didn't study it. I don't have any knowledge of it. I know the short's huge. That's all I know. And that's about it. What the company does, I don't even know the name of the company. I know zero.
Okay, so this guy's thanking you. John is thanking you.
Tell the gentleman I just put up a story about DN for him from Pat Burnside. We did this a long time ago. I'll put it up now. Yeah, you can keep it.
There's not really okay, Mike is saying that he agrees with you. They're having trouble keeping GDC down, and they may have to have buy-ins. I don't know. But Ham's point, which I was trying to reiterate, is if you scale in, like you buy 10% and then you have a half position, you can do that on the way out. You don't always have to keep 100%. And that's the hardest thing.
Yeah, listen, don't ever think you're going to ring the bell.
Right.
You're never going to buy the bottom. You're never going to the top. Although the guy just said he paid 191, he's pretty close. I was pretty close at 172. That was pretty close, right?
Well, good for you.
I'm just saying that you never know what the bottom is. You don't know what the top is. So again, I told you we bought GameStop at 375. The highest we sold it was 118. Looking back on it, I was studying it, but I had 70% of the information. I didn't have 100%. So the highest we sold it was 118. So if that was Finger, I definitely would have been there to the 500 range. All right. If Finger was GME back in the day, based on what I know now, we would be there riding this baby to the top.
Right, right.
We would be making sales at 10, 11, or 12, at 118. We would be 500 easy.
So this gentleman, all in, he's been trading GDC, and he's made $6,000 trading it back and forth, and he's asking if the short covering is causing the spikes, and then they short it back down after it spikes.
Now what they do is this is how it's working. The shorts of these waves that are spiking up are shorts covering. Okay, they're looking for longs to bail out. All right, that's what they're looking for. So they basically have like what's it, a sonar on a boat? They can see the shorts. They can see the longs trying to make sales. They can see it. So
Right.
they run up and they scoop it up. And guess what they do? They're big. They buy it. Then all of a sudden, whoop, there's no more bids. Boom, falls like an elevator.
They stop buying.
And what they want you to do is say, "Oh my God, it was just 7. It was just 8.15. Now it's 7.5. Next time it goes up, I'm getting out."
Right.
You understand? That's the mentality. They're trying to groom all you to think like that.
Right.
Okay. When I had to cover a short, that's exactly how I would do it. Run in. Let's say the stock is 7, and I got 3 million shares to cover. Boom, take it to 8.5. Then I go, okay. Boom, I walk away. Boom, it falls back down like a stone. Go read the newspaper, eat something, don't move. I got to stand there because the longs are looking around saying, "Where's that buyer? Where's the buyer?" I don't want them to see me. And you let them suffer a little bit, and then you come back and you do it again. And guess what? As it starts to swing and they figure out what you're doing, it gets harder and harder to buy it, right? But meanwhile, if I had to buy 3 million, those first 2 swoops into it, maybe I buy back 1.5 million. The last 1.5 million, instead of paying 8, I'll be paying 9 or 10 because everyone wises up then. Because now they're not selling it to me. Now I have to pay high, and that's how I do it. So all of a sudden, I paid from 7 to 8. I bought 1.5 million. My next 1.5 million, I'm going to pay up to 10. So let's say a 9 average. So my whole average would be 850, and the stock closes at 10. And I bought back 3 million shares. And that's how you do it.
So this guy is pointing out this is free professional information. I will tell you, obviously it's not financial advice, but I will tell you what the information, the trading, the skills, the knowledge that Ham provides you guys. If I had known this when I was in my 20s and 30s trading and advising people, man, I would have had an edge that would have been unbelievable. And he tells you it every day.
I would have thrown you out the window.
You wouldn't have talked to me. I gotta go. Click. Billy, I gotta go. Well, wait a minute. Can I don't have time.
I always had time. This is how I would tell you. They go, "What do you do? Sell the fucking thing." Boom, and I hang up. That would be it.
So this gentleman is saying, which he's saying GTII to the moon. Look, I don't know much about GTII right now, but we're waiting. It's a quiet period waiting for the judge. I know what Ham's talking about. We have ideas, but what I mean is I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea what happens.
We don't control any of this stuff that's going on. All I can say is that if everything falls our way, we have great stuff that's going to happen, which would be put it all back into play. So we just have to wait. Don't look at it. We have to wait. I found a company a long time ago. They reached out to me, and they actually developed a Bloomberg terminal that instead of costing $3,000 a month, it's going to cost $30,000. And they have AI built into it. And the guys came out of Google, and these guys want to merge into GTII. All right. So these guys are available. We can still grab them, but we don't control anything to do with it. If there's a receiver comes in, the big shareholders, I can present it to them, they can merge them in, and now we're in play again, get the financials up to date, and it's a new game with a smaller company, and it's all great with a big short. So it's not over, but again, we don't control any of it because we're not attorneys. So let's not talk about it.
Exactly.
The game. It's not worth talking about it. Again, I'm trying to focus on Finger. I want you guys to ask. I'm sitting here. I played pickleball this morning. I beat the shit out of a bunch of people, and I'm gonna go out and have a few drinks tonight. So I got nothing to do. So let's live together and go through this. Ask every question.
So you're having champagne?
Nah, not that's true. I do drink. I'm just gonna have a couple of beers with friends.
The champagne of
I'm a
beers.
champagne girl. That is correct, William. I am.
You're gonna have Miller Lite, the champagne of beers.
That's was it Miller Lite? Was that the one that commercial?
Or is it Schaefer when you're having more than one?
Yeah, I think it was Schaefer. My dad used to drink. For anybody that's older, my dad used to drink Old Milwaukee and Schlitz. I think it was Schlitz. That's what he said.
My friend's father used to drink Wiedemann's. It was blue and red. Oh my God, it was awful, but it was cheap. Right. Wiedemann's. So these two guys are going back and forth. One gentleman is really underwater on thousands a share of Finger, and the other gentleman is saying, well, you gotta have some patience because it's about to turn. And my 2 cents, it's August. Everybody's at the beach. When they come back to school in 2 or 3 weeks, I think the stock's higher. Anyway, go on.
Okay, so I understand what he just said, and I'm just gonna show you in real time exactly the same thing that happened to me. And William, what did I say I paid for GDC when I bought it? What was the first?
I think you paid $350 or $370, $340.
I think it was $360. I think $360. $360, and it went down to 65 cents. Okay, and I told you I did what? I bought more where 80-something cents, whatever it was.
Yeah, and your daughter did better than you.
Was there. We averaged down my family. We all averaged down around 80 cents, 80-something cents. Only because I had no choice to do it, because I was saying exactly what that gentleman's saying. I wasn't happy about it, but you know what? I had no choice. I got to figure a way to get out of this thing. I told you GDC had to get north of 1 because otherwise it'd be delisted. Bang, zoom, it went back over 1, right? Once it stabilized at $1.20, we talked about it, said if it breaks $1.50, then it went up to 2. I said if it breaks 220, I posted it on Twitter. Boom, boom, boom. It all happened, right?
Yeah.
Those are signs. So I can't tell you when to average down in Finger, but if you're upside down, I can't tell you, but I just told you the story how I got myself in a better position in GDC than standing in at 350. I dropped that number. The average price came down, and then when it went, I went from being in the red to being in the black with a profit. Got it all back and then some.
And this kind of advice is different than you'll hear with guys that are trading all day long. If you can't sit in front of a computer, you can't do all those trades that they do so well. What Ham's talking about, you know the story, it's down, you add, you bring your cost average down, and then like he did, when he got into the green, he hit the bid.
Listen, I knew nothing about why I was even in the stock. I didn't. Only because that's my background, saying, okay, I know smart people that all bought higher. So something's got to make this thing turn. So while it's ugly, I always say when it's William Fine ugly, you got to buy it, right?
So is there a gentleman out there that's never been beaten by you in pickleball or bocce ball?
No, you can't. Pickleball is a stupid game because you play with people you don't know. Like I play always with a different partner all the time. The game just keeps rotating. And I played a game the other day with a woman that was excellent, a Chinese woman that I played with was excellent, against 2 people that were very good also. We played 2 games. I lost both games 12-10, 12-10. And the game is so stupid because the 2 people on the other side, it was a guy and a girl. they hit every ball to the woman I was playing with. I could actually sat there and read a book. They didn't hit the ball to me. And I wound up sending a message to her. And I thanked her. I said, "You played excellent today." And I said, "But they never hit the ball to me." And she said they were afraid to hit it to me because I can hit the ball so hard back. So I never got the ball. So the game can be slanted. I don't believe in that. When I play somebody, William, if I'm playing against, Djokovic and someone else that's a novice, I'm hitting the ball at Djokovic. I'm going to try to win against the better player. Most people want to win. They think we're going to get we're winning Wimbledon. They're going to get the big dish or something. And they keep trying to hit to the weaker player all the time. And I don't believe in that. I go straight at the person that's better. So it's in that respect that the game is a terrible game because people will do that. And I can't be a singles player. I can't, my knee hurts me. I can't run as hard anymore.
So Rosenberg has beaten you at pickleball?
Get out of here, that guy. He's a garbage man. Get out of here.
And bocce ball?
Well, that's my future as an old Italian man. I'm gonna be playing bocce ball. That's how they're gonna carry me out. That's it. Bocce ball.
You'll be playing against the others. You'll have the best knees in the pit.
I'm getting a knee surgery at the end of September, so I'm gonna be in a pissed off.
You'll be saying to everyone, "Bend your knees, bend your knees."
Don't get me wrong, once I get that knee surgery, I got to sit on the couch all the time, and I barely go out and play. I'm going to be pissed off. So,
Well, let's see.
I'm knock on wood. I never had any injury ever in my life. I broke my thumb and my finger. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's from being a catcher in hardball. I caught a ball that bounced up, and I caught a bat off the thumb.
Are you sure it didn't hit your head?
That's how my family can, when they come to the morgue to look for me, they'll look and say, "Let me see that hand." Broken thumb in the finger.
So, are you from? Are your forebears Sicilian or mainland Italian?
Mainland. We're from the hills. We're real guineas from the hills. I had a funny story that where my daughter wants us to get dual passports, citizenship in Italy and here. She's been doing all that searching, looking through the whole thing. And on my dad's side, my dad was thrown in the streets. And during the Depression, he really didn't know his mother and father. He was by himself in the streets. And so she figured out how to get to my dad's parents, who I didn't know. And my grandfather, I guess, he got remarried, changed his name, and he named one of his new kids George Washington. So I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my God, my side of the family is wacky. He changed his name, so it is what it is. But that's crazy stuff happens when you look. But they're all from the middle of Italy in the mountains. So I guess that. We're not on the coast. We're not north of Sicily, it's below Rome, so we're in the middle there somewhere.
You're down in the boot.
We're definitely not in the. I guess we were definitely farmers, and I guess my grandparents were stepping on wine, making wine with their feet. That's what we were doing.
Yeah.
My grandfather, on my mother's side, is very interesting. He came here to the United States. He fought the Italian army in World War II, right? And then he enlisted in the U.S. Army, so he fought on both sides. How's that?
That sounds like a trader with a D.
How's that one? He left Italy, then joined the U.S.
Army. This guy's been waiting for a year for 2-year wait. He's doing the same thing your daughter wants to do. I looked it up, but my Italian is too far back. I think it's my great grandmother.
No, they'll find you. They'll find you. My daughter, she just got a call back from the people in Italy, and they're walking through the process. So keep it up, and you know, and you can get it done. My daughter's been working on it.
My Italian is Caruso, believe it or not, Caruso, and they think that.
Oh, that's the famous name of the people that clean the sewers in Italy.
And one singer, and the rest clean sewers. They think it's related, but you never know. It could all be crap. I don't know.
So, does anyone have any questions?
No, not really. You've been here
Yeah,
an hour.
I just again that listen, I have nothing to do. It's I want people to understand that I'm focusing on finger. I'm not going anywhere else. This is it. We got 55 days to change your life. This is the game. We know who the short is. We know everything about it, and we're ready to go. So I want you to understand the origin of what happened here. That Lynn Partners went to the company. The company, I got rid of them. I had friends that. So for those who thought that they overpaid, that one gentleman said he's upside down a finger.
Mm-hmm.
My friend invested in Finger, gave the company $3.5 million, and he paid the good old price of 10. And when the stock was 10, he paid 10. So for the gentleman saying that he's upside down, my friend paid 10 and is still here. And he's bought more and he's averaged down. He paid 10. And that is a fact. You could probably go find it in the filings. Paid $10. So there's people here that know the company, are well aware of what's going on. They know the fundamentals. They can see the business growing. And just think about it. If you would have sat there in the video and said, oh, this company makes these chips. They suck. It's not doing anything. But you say, well, I heard they got this new chip that's going to be outstanding. I don't know where it came from in the lower of the stock. I don't remember it. I can't remember. But people who have been in the video said this thing went from very low prices to the moon. So that's what happened. So that's what people see. That's what we envision. And if you think stocks don't go to 1,000, just go look in the video. It did. Nothing else?
Nothing else really.
I'm watching a show on TV with Vince Vaughn called Monkey something. It's pretty good.
He's all right.
And he's gigantic.
He doesn't clean sewers.
Only the Carusos do
that. Hidden Valley Pickleball says Chucky Schwab isn't allowing him to buy Finger. That's interesting.
No, I don't know why. I have no idea. Companies up to date on those filings, listed on the NASDAQ. You know what? Forget Hidden Valley. Take 2 minutes, call up the trading desk and say, hey, what's the problem? Tell me. I like to know.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to do. Wall Street is, for all the technology they have and all the money they have, their systems are always down. They always got some glitch, right? The stocks are always at the highs. Jeffrey, Schwab, everyone's worth billions and billions of market cap. And yet they can't get anything straight. I don't understand it, right? One small company makes one mistake and they kill it. These companies make mistakes all the time. My systems are down. They're all down. Everything's down. Those stocks could be dropping 50% when the systems go down. That means that they can't be trusted, right? Our systems are down. Yeah, they unplug the systems when it goes against them. That's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever see the movie True Romance? I have no idea.
I don't remember it. I know the name.
There's a scene, apparently a Sicilian scene with Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper. I don't know.
I'll take a look. I'll go watch it. I'll take a look at it. Christopher Walken is totally crazy.
I don't know.
I love Christopher Walken and Joe Dirt.
I didn't see that.
That's not up your alley.
I liked him in Catch Me If You Can. He was the father. I thought he was great.
All right, with the DiCaprio, right?
Your friend is asking you about NVDX.
Never heard of it. Next. Listen, Dennis Rosenberg. Listen, I told you 50 times. The guy is unhinged. He's nuts. He can't, what do you call it when he can't focus? What is it? ADD? Is that it? That's it. He can't sit still. He walks
Either
around.
that or an old camera.
He talks, he goes from stock to stock. He can't even, he'll start with a symbol and he just sold it and he bought a new one. He's just out of his bird. Great trader, but he's, short, sweet, he just keeps swinging around. Listen, people, if you want to be a trader, it takes a commitment, a long time. You got to be able to trade pre-market, after markets. You got to study it. I don't want to do that anymore. You're welcome to go do it. If you want to sit here and trade GDC, you got to stare. You got to know if they're breaking down, breaking out. You don't want to miss a sale. I don't want to be chained to the desk. So I decided a couple of years ago that I wanted to get into a stock, study it, and get into it, and really make life-changing money. I never knew that these stocks would be under attack like this. I thought it'd be a slow grind. That stock would be $30 now. Every time they get a new deal, it goes up to 40. Another deal, it goes to 50, and things like that. That's what I was expecting. Not this shit show that we're in now. And that's why I stepped in and I said, all right, you want to fight? I'm a fighter. Let's go. And that's where we are. I wish I didn't have to do this, but there's no choice now.
So if they clean up Wall Street, does the market crash or does it stay strong?
I think that the big stocks will come down. I think there's going to be the boom is going to be in the smaller stocks like Finger Motion, companies that have good fundamentals. They're just going to explode. Companies like this, imagine a stock. Let's say it didn't squeeze. Let's say on fundamentals, all of a sudden it starts to grow. The stock can go from $3 to $200 just on fundamentals. A normal market, because now the fundamentals research analysts will come back to life. Things like that. Right? Guy opening up a research firm, anyone on this call, you got 5 guys that are old Wall Street guys, get a research firm together, start covering stocks and start putting out real reports on them. These things, I think that's going to be the future of the street. Not high frequency trading, not this nonsense with these computers. I think they'll destroy everything.
That's interesting. Well, it's been over an hour. You can.
Listen, I have nothing going on.
You can keep talking. I'm not cutting you off.
I just want people to understand. I'm just trying to regurgitate every piece of knowledge on finger motion. Go back, forward, sideways, how to play options in it, how do you do this? You got listen, the key to option playing on a stock is the timing. People get inside information. What do? They buy options. When they get busted for insider trading, what do the SEC look for? Options. Right now, the SEC has a problem because we've been basically told in 55 trading days, Trump wins, he's firing Gary Gensler. Who's he going to put in? We got Pat Byrne. Who's Pat Byrne? Pat Byrne is the king of exposing naked shorts and forcing stock settlement. He's telling you yourself. He told us all. It's right there in the audio. You can listen to him yourself. His last hurrah for the shareholders of Overstock was he crushed the shorts, squeezed them. How do you squeeze them? Stock settlement. How do you do it? With a dividend. He's telling you. Everything's right there. To me, that's inside information. People in GameStop can't figure it out. People in AMC can't figure it out. They don't know Pat Byrne. I know Pat Byrne. I'm showing you the blueprint and how it came full circle that, Pat Byrne is back to help carry us over the finish line is just truly amazing. The guy's a cancer survivor. He made his fortune. He went and helped President Trump expose the fraudulent voting machines. He did that all on his own dime. And now we get him back? Are you kidding me? This guy's a real hero. And we're lucky to have him. And you know what? Take advantage of it. Figure it out. I figured it out. I believe it's finger motion. I don't believe it's other crazy Chinese names. People call me, oh, you got to buy HOLO. You got to buy this one, that one, this one, that one. That's not my thing. I'm not chasing all these crazy names. I'm sticking to one place. And the selling, remember people, you can only sell your stock one time. Once this nonsense of this counterfeit shares and the complete counterfeiting, or these guys creating liquidity all the time, selling, these stocks will just melt up. That's what's going to happen. I always get a kick out of it. As soon as the stock looks like it's going to go to 230, all of a sudden 3,000 comes in for sale at 229. And what's the next trade? They hit the bid at 228, and now there's no bid. See the difference? See what I'm showing you? It's 224 bid for 200 shares now. There's always 3,000 for sale. 3,000, 2,000, 1,000. If you have 100,000 for sale, throw it out there. If someone sees it, they'll buy it. There is no stock for sale, and that's why you keep seeing these small orders keep coming in. They keep thinking they're going to discourage us. And I told you before, when they stop selling, it's going to be impossible to buy. That's why GDC was impossible to buy, and it ran to 12 today. There's no selling. That's why you're seeing these wild swings in it. They're trying to cover. Every time they push it down, it goes unchanged. All of a sudden, it pops back over 8 again. The longer it holds up here, okay, the likelihood of GDC going higher keeps increasing. The stock, I'm looking at it right now, it's 784, 792. It's not even trading anymore. There's no selling. So now if there's no selling, that means that the only reason it's staying up here is because people are buying it. Not people, but shorts. I would never advise you to chase it up here. If you wanted to be part of it and you think you're going to catch a squeeze and buy one share, go ahead, take a shot. But other than that, that's not my game. So finger motion just trades at 2.2899. That means that they're shorting it in front of the 329 offer of 30,000 shares. Someone tried to pay 329 and they sold it to them at 2.899. Don't ask me how you get change of 0.2899. That's a different story. That's how you can tell when they're naked shorting it. When they don't let it trade at the 229, they've sold it before. They don't want that uptick. They want to make sure that it's always a negative, not a positive. I hope everyone's jotting this stuff down. I put up a story about DMDN, William.
Yeah. And
you can see the stock spiked to almost $25 from I guess $5. It spiked from 5 to 25, and you can see the wall, like Mount Everest, the wall of sales to deliver in the blue. The chart's right there. If people want to pull it up, just flooding the market with counterfeits until the stock broke down.
That's their game.
It's right there. The data doesn't lie. I always tell people, you can sit there and people go, you suck. I say, listen, I'm just posting what they tell me. What's right there. So the stock in finger motion, the last trade was 2.2899. All of a sudden, there's no 28. The 29 offer is still there. The 20, nobody offered at 28. Someone offers 100 shares at 27, and the bid's 24. So it's trying to make it look weak on 100 shares. And there you go. They take it out, and there it goes again the other way. So it's just sit here and watch it all day. Think about the nonsense you're seeing. That this is what they try to do all day long. What you're seeing is a sign of desperation, is what that is. Just remember, we're watching it. Some idiot is doing those stupid movements in the market, in the stock. Some guy, like a guy like Charlie Mayo, that idiot from GTII, he's sitting in the room trying to hurry up. Move 100 shares down. Hurry up. Let's scare them. That's what he's doing. Or you get Timothy Sykes, whatever his name is, saying nonsense. Does anyone else have any questions? It sounds like a morgue over on your side.
I don't know.
Well,
about
I will
that.
tell you this, that I know a lot of people that have sold GDC a lot, and they're listening to the call, and that's why I keep dragging it on, because I want people to understand, and I guess they do understand it, and people will start making decisions whether they're going to pile into FNGR. Like I said, I know one guy sold he sold 100,000 at A plus. That's almost $800,000. That could be almost 350,000 shares of Fingerboard. Wonder if he will do that. My gut tells me he will, but that's a different story. Smart guy, loves filing shorts. Let's see what happens. That's just one of 50 or 100 people that I know. Anything else, William? Is that it?
Well, yeah, it looks like it. I mean, nobody's really asking more questions, but I'm sure they're listening closely.
Well, listen, everyone, congratulations on your GDC trades. I'm glad you made some money. I'm trying to help out. To the idiots that tell me I don't know how to play the game, they're morons. Okay? I'm not here for, I don't care. I'm not here for medals. I'm not here for any of that stuff. I'm here to expose the criminal activity and move on with my life. That's what I'm trying to do. And before I move on with my life, all right, I want to make money that was going to change my life. And I believe I'm in the right spot. All right. I hope you learned how to trade. You learned how to trade a short squeeze stock. I think it's important that you tell people that if they want to understand the trading of the stock market, even if you own one share FNGR, just for an FU case, it's $2. You can learn and see how it plays. It's important that people learn, younger people learn. This way they can figure it out. This is a lesson you're never going to get. You just got a lesson in GDC. I'm glad you got it. Like I said, finding a short squeeze is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's not easy, right? People are, you're so good, how come they don't have it? It's very difficult to find it, right?
Right.
And you just happen to find one, right? In real time. All right. I think we were lucky to get it. Be thankful you got it. And you know what? You see it in play now. You can see how volatile it gets afterwards. You don't know which way it's going to go. We don't know if it's going here or there. You know, it's out of control. So you determine the easy money has been made. Now it's hard money, or you get more nervous about it. That's it. That's how the game plays. People on Wall Street have a tendency on a Friday afternoon, okay? They don't like to take things home for the weekend. So just remember that. Now, it could happen on the long side, and it happens on the short side. If you're short the stock, you're going to sit there and say, hey, man, I don't want to go home short 200,000 shares of this piece of shit. That's how they talk. And it goes and it gaps open on Monday at $30. I'll be wiped out. Buy my stock back. And if the stock was 12, I would say more likely it would go down. But the stock is here, so I think more likely it would go back up because no one's really selling it. I think a lot of people have made money already, have sold it, and are supporting it, buying it back. And that's how you have to think about the position. You got to think of all the pros and the cons. Or you could just say, fuck this, I'm going home, I had enough. That's the way to do it. I like to end the weekend on a good note and go out, have a drink, and see you later. And that's what I'd rather do. The old days, we would be sitting here trading to the last minute. All right, William?
None of those guys that said negative things about your picking or mine are here congratulating. So just remember, they're not on anybody's side. They're just on their own side.
Listen, everyone has losers. What do you think? I never had a loser in my life? Forget it. We all do it. I told you about the time I bought a stock. We loaded up on it. The guy was supposed to take over the company. And I think the stock was, I think we started at 12. We took it to 15 or $16. We bought zillions of shares. The news was supposed to come out on Monday. He was taking like a $28 cash bid. It's $15. So that would be up at like, another $12. We were cashing our tickets where we're going to spend all the money. And what did he do? He got a limousine, did cocaine, and killed himself. Stock opened to 3. We got wiped out. That was a nice bloodbath. You never know, right?
You never know.
That is correct. So over the years, you learn. You think, how am I ever going to come back from it? What you do, you keep digging, you keep going.
There's
Never get
always
down on yourself. Never
another
get down on
trade.
yourself. That's, you gotta, listen, if you're in a stock and you hate it and you can't, and you just sell it, move on, get it out of your head. Don't look back. When you get out of a stock, take it off your screen. Do not go looking back at it. Don't get any joy. I sold it. Look, it's higher. I sold it. You idiots. It's low. Just forget about it. Move on. Be the better person.
I was always taught that if you have a better idea, that's a good time to sell a stock. So,
Oh, listen, again, if you have a better idea, you move it along, you move money along. So we've had my friends that was selling GDC, and there's many of them. They were looking for a better idea, so I sort of gave them a better idea. Let's see what they do. I think some of them have been poking in here, and I think it'll build until you see a tsunami of people coming. That's how it goes.
yeah.
Right, I can't go into everyone's computer and say, hurry up and go buy the stock. I don't do that. So that's not how it works. I just keep seeing this GDC. Now you got me looking at it again. It's 763, boom, back up to 811. It looks like there's someone trying to cover in this 60-cent range. It dips, it pops, it dips, it pops. Sooner or later, that pop to 11, 8 and 11 is going to be pop to 9 again,
Yeah.
That's how it looks to me. I guess I wish there were options, because then you could buy options without any risk. You could take the profit and just buy it that way.
What he means by that, you're only putting up a small amount of money.
Yeah, you put up, instead of buying the stock at $7, $8, I could buy options at 20 cents. Instead of putting up, let's say, buy 1,000 shares at $8,000, I could buy 10 options at 20 cents or $200. That's how you put no more money into it. I'm just looking at the finger motion calls. Someone was smart enough to buy the Novembers. Who would buy the November 7th at 15 cents when the November 6th is at 15 cents? People, look at the different prices. Why would you buy the 7th at 15 cents? You can buy the 6th at 15 cents. And to tell you the truth, instead of buying 250 at 15 cents, I would have bought 125 and paid 20 cents for the 5s. Be smart when you're buying these options. When you see them at the same price, don't pay $1 more. That person made a mistake. He should have paid the 6s instead of the 7s. Do you understand what I said, William?
Yeah, I do.
Just look at the options charts before you go out and buy them. So finger motion, there's 0.0.0.0.0 selling. All you see is the little manipulation of the 1,000 shares going back and forth. 0. I'm sitting here falling asleep looking at it. When there's no selling in the stock, change the symbol. If that was Tesla and there's no selling in it, the stock would be up $5. Just like it's up 6. Look at that. When the selling stops, that's when they turn. Anyway, listen, everyone. I tried my best. I gave as much information as I can. I'm focused on finger motion. That's it. That's all I'm going to talk about, and we're going to ride this out. I appreciate everyone following me. And again, if you don't need to follow me, if you had enough, just delete it. Don't follow me. I post a lot. The only reason I post a lot is for education and for the regulators and the law enforcement to read what we're saying. That's the only reason I post. All right, that's all I do. If you have any questions, feel free. Ask William. We'll always get back to you and answer the questions. All right?
Okay.
Have a great day, everyone. Congratulations again if you made money.
All right. Thanks, Sam.
Yes. Yeah.
Call ended.
All right. That was a long call. I'll try to go a little while longer, but I'm I haven't eaten and it's 1 o'clock, and I don't expect a lot of activity in any of these stocks. For me on GDC, I think it's going to go higher next week. Doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean we're now in the really speculative part of the trade. The best trade is the one getting out at $10, even getting out at $5. It's the best trade because the risk is less. The more you wait now, the risk is higher and higher. So there may be more reward, and ultimately people might be able to say, wow, I sold it higher, but the risk is higher. So I can't believe Powell's going to cut rates. I didn't expect that, but just shows that I don't know what I'm talking about. Powell, 2 years ago, he warned of pain to come. This time he couldn't have been more dovish. He's put inflation fully in the rear view mirror. I don't know. I guess it's the payrolls that came down. Cooling conditions in labor market conditions is unmistakable. How did they report the wrong number? And why did they report the wrong number? It appears the cooling in labor market conditions, quote, is enough to prompt an easing cycle while inflation is still at 3%. I don't know. I think this ends in tears. This, to me, this is the kind of thing that can put the bond market at risk. Because the Fed only controls the short interest rates. And to the extent that they're in there buying bonds or selling the long bonds, which they do too. They don't talk about it. I guess they can affect that. But it's a sleeping, slumbering giant. Trade Station head of strategy says, here comes the punch bowl. Jerome Powell just came out swinging. He said inflation is on a sustainable path lower. Job market has cooled to pre-pandemic levels. And he says he made a clear call for adjusting policy. The market agrees that at least one rate cut is coming this year with pretty good odds, a third, that it's a 50 basis point cut, which is all great with the November elections looming. The Fed will do everything to make sure the establishment candidate isn't distracted by such trivial things as the stock market crash. But here's 4 problems. First, the Fed ends its tightening cycle and starts the next easing cycle with stocks at all-time highs. And they can go higher. Something which has never happened before in the history of capital markets. I can't prove that's a true statement, but I believe him. This means that unless the current expansion ends in a gruesome recession, which crushes the economy, the S&P is about to enter a full-blown bubble. Remember what I've been saying, which in turn will burst in even more spectacular fashion, forcing the Fed to cut back to 0 interest rates, but maybe negative, and QE. it's going to get frightening how much the Fed's balance sheet is going to expand. It's just going to be incredible. All manipulation. I do wish I still had my house. Secondly, this is the first time in history when the Fed has aborted a tightening cycle, having achieved zero home price easing and rents. And then Kamala is promising 25 grand in new home purchase subsidies. Thirdly, one still needs to eat. Food prices are also at all-time highs. Fourthly, the broadest money measurement is once again rising, M2. Well, I guess Jerome Powell is a hero. At 2 o'clock, Kennedy makes some sort of speech. All right. I wanted to point out a couple of things. This is from oilprice.com. They're talking about Citi, a bank that I don't think is particularly, well, maybe they're good in oil, who knows. Written by Julianne Geiger on August 22nd. Oil prices could be set to rebound after sell-off. The recent oil price decline has primarily been driven by two factors. Easing geopolitical risks. I don't see that. Maybe the perception of easing geopolitical risks, particularly in Gaza, with a ceasefire on the horizon. She doesn't know, what's her last name, Geiger? She doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know. That rather large prime minister, prevaricating prime minister, he wants war with Iran. It doesn't look good. And China's economic slowdown. That may be that there's a China economic slowdown. That may well be, but their bonds are rallying and they have the capacity to turn on their machines to build things. Okay, then they say, which I can't read because of how it printed, so I'll move on to the article. Oil prices have dipped, according to Julianne Geiger, with Brent crude hovering around $77 per barrel, leading some market analysts to spot potential short-term buying opportunities. I think it's a screaming, look, oil can always go lower, like anything. But when I was at that conference and I asked some analyst, I swear I saw the projection, but maybe I misheard it. I mean, I saw that daily consumption is 104 million barrels a day, but someone else said that's a projection. But the swing producers they showed were Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and that was it pretty much. There was one or two others that were small. I don't believe Saudi Arabia is a swing producer anymore. And maybe somewhat. Permian Basin is still there, but the United States as a country, which is incredible to me, incredible. We're at 12 to 13 million barrels of oil produced a day. Absolutely incredible. But we're going to see some decline curves kicking in. So there's a lot of optimism too. It's amazing industry, oil and gas. We had a protester at my table when Chevron was talking, and I don't think Democrats in particular, but um, uh, you know, this new generation of wokeism, I don't think people recognize how talented the oil and gas industry is in the United States. And I also don't think people, we're all so young compared to centuries of human existence. But the industrial revolution ruined cities like Prague, uh, uh, London, with soot and bad air to breathe. And so we can argue what we do, but oil and natural gas have not only improved our lives, women's lives. They've allowed women to get out of the home and go become president of the United States with a CV that is as thin as high school students' CV. But it's there because of oil and gas, and our health is better. But people are quick to say this is what's destroying the world. I will agree that coal probably is one of the single most important things to do is to stop burning coal. And I am someone who is petrified by climate change. But having said that, no one wants to address the biggest issue. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us on the planet. Who do we get rid of if we're going to get rid of oil and natural gas? Whose population do we let disappear? I don't know. It's a lot of policy decisions. But I'll tell you what, that conference, for example, in the Bakken, one company, I'm trying to remember the name of it, just incredible to me. They do these horizontals and they frack, but they've been producing for a decade or more, and they're going in and refracking, and the wells are coming back to flush production. There's some signs worldwide. Nambia. There's a company in there going after just tremendous oil resources on land. And, maybe peak oil isn't quite here yet. I don't know. Or maybe we have enough oil to get to 2050 when some people are projecting massive population collapse for one reason alone. Women are not having babies. And you can get mad at me. Oh, that's sexist. Oh, what do you want them to do? Be chained and barefoot in the kitchen? I'm not making any policy or any moral judgment. All I'm saying is women are not having enough children to replace our population. In the United States, although now 20 million new people are here, in Europe, and in swaths of the world where women are achieving education and jobs and coming in and causing censorship at YouTube and then dying early, women are advancing, and that means that we're not having as many children. So maybe we won't need as much oil 20, 30 years from now, and maybe we have enough of the resource as it goes down to power our modern industrial world. There were other things at this conference that I have to study, but one, to me, young guy, has, number one, I didn't know there's nuclear fusion. I didn't know that's been achieved, but apparently has in small reactors. And there's a ways of using these smaller reactors, very small, next to natural gas production plants. And I kept getting called out and moved, so I don't have the full idea in my head, but I intend to. And these plants are, he says, so safe you can just turn on the off switch, but it's going to increase the capacity for energy in the United States, and it's incredible. And you can burn waste in them, so that's a future. Nano battery technology. I know MMAT got destroyed by the shorts, but I met a gentleman. The future's bright for battery storage, energy storage. There's just leap breakthroughs coming in the United States, in the middle of the country, where everyone is racist and sexist and white supremacist. Not, but all the overly educated women and simps that come out of our East Coast and West Coast and tell the rest of us how we have to live, and they have a better idea. While they're doing that, the United States economy and brain power and creativity, it may solve a lot of these issues. There was one company on water, cleansing water. Amazing. The future. Anyway, all right, let's get back to oil. According to Julianne Geiger, oil prices have dipped, with Brent crude hovering around $77 a barrel. To me, it's a screaming buy. Demand, I think oil prices will be $150 before you can blink. But it won't go straight up. So Citi Research sees this price pressure as a likely precursor to a rebound despite recent easing and geoglobal. You can tell where she gets her news. You can tell where. So you got to take advantage of it. Remember, you can't bring politics to investing. You just got to try to figure out the trend. And she's got a blind spot because she listens to CNN. The old wag is the cure for low prices is low prices. Listen to this horse manure. The recent price decline is primarily driven by two key factors: easing geopolitical risk, particularly in Gaza. She's crazy. Netanyahu lit a match that is not going to end. And I know you're going to say, oh, it was terrible, October 6th or 7th. Well, Israeli press points out that Israeli soldiers were responsible for at least half of the deaths on that day. So nothing's as black and white as we are led to believe. But the issue isn't the politics of it. The region has turned into a tinderbox. And you have 2.5 to 3 million human beings living in a space no larger than the footprint of the Los Angeles airport. Half of them are children. Polio is breaking out. Children shot with bullets in their head. Children. Properties destroyed. No clean water, no clean sewers. And you think they're going to return to peace? I don't. I think that's really short-sighted of Julianne Geiger. But if that's what the trading desks think, that you have an opportunity, my own opinion, we have the next 3 or 4 months to build into oil and gas positions if we find some. Why? Because the big hedge funds are all competing with each other for their October, November performance bonuses, Once that's over, once they go on well-deserved vacations, because they're so much smarter than you are, next year, there will be a new investment thing. And I don't think it'll be NVIDIA. All right, the other reason she gives is China's economic slowdown. Well, she might be right, but China's still importing oil. They're still filling up their strategic reserves, and they're still building an industrial capacity that which is going to demand oil. But China's not the only story in the world. There's India, whose demand is growing, Southeast Asia, Africa. Saudi internal demand for oil is growing. China's weakened industrial production and softer oil imports data have weighed heavily on the global demand outlook, contributing to a reduction in the geopolitical risk premium for oil. Well, I guess she got straight A's wherever she went to school. However, Citi warns, and this is her point of view, warns that the market isn't out of the woods yet. I don't think it is at all. While the geopolitical landscape appears calmer, risks remain. Hurricane season poses a significant threat to oil supply chains, always does, and ongoing tensions in North Africa and the Middle East could easily reignite volatility. No kidding. The current market position is historically short, which could spur a rebound if Brent dips further, especially if it nears the $75 support level. The United States Energy Information Administration reported a significant drop in commercial crude oil inventories. Well, so what? I mean, that to short-term traders, they read that and I guess they're just saying it's not that much of a drop. Brent, the price, the 200 moving day average at $82 a barrel is a resistance point, while the $75 per barrel is a key support, whatever. All right, her final paragraph. Looking forward, Citi suggests that OPEC Plus faces crucial decisions. Look, the Saudi budget demand, as they're building out the horizontal city and other things, they need oil over $100 a barrel. So I think their decisions are going to favor higher oil prices. With production cuts set to ease in October, market conditions allowing, any further decline in prices toward the low 70s might prompt this group to reconsider this strategy. As refinery margin remains under pressure, the upcoming winter season may be pivotal in shaping the market's direction. What a crappy, you shouldn't listen to analysts. She's making a lot of money. She wrote this in her pajamas after a night out with Chad and had to get it out of, that's terrible. That's a terrible report. All right, let me go to the housing bubble pops. I'm only reading this because I'd like to see if there's a way people could make money. Okay, the wellspring of the housing bubble is credit. And obviously Powell's going to lower interest rates, so that may not stop. Asset bubbles can arise without credit expansion. But in the modern era, Gargantuan increases in credit, debt, pump up the volume, pump up asset values. Without a vast expansion in credit, it's hard to inflate a massive speculative bubble. So the total credit in the United States will notice the parabolic rise in credit since Ronald Reagan. Parabolic rise in credit. Greenspan's going to go down in history as a nightmare. As bubbles rise, assets such as stocks and etc., the phantom wealth leaks out of the first bubble and seeks more fertile speculative ground in another asset class, which then goes up as well, which keeps the bubbles inflated. The consensus holds that the housing market is bubbling higher because there are enormous scarcities in housing. Demand exceeds supply, and so prices skyrocket. While this is undoubtedly true in specific locales, the nation as a whole has more housing units per capita than ever before. I'll highlight the line in yellow. That's the housing units per capita. And then they are higher than ever before. Of course, are they here or in Florida? I don't know. This suggests housing hoarding by the wealthy as a factor. Housing hoarding. Corporations have snapped up tens of thousands of homes as rentals, a double play of steady income from rising rents and speculative bet on gains from additional appreciation. Wealthy households have snapped up hundreds of thousands of homes as short-term vacation rentals for the same reason, income and appreciation. Millions of homes are empty or lightly used. As wealthy families have no pressing need to sell vacation homes, homes left empty when the parents passed, or as they have moved to assisted living, etc. Riding the bubble higher is an obvious motivation to hang on to empty houses. The top 10%, who collect roughly half the income and own over 90% of all stocks, own 44% of the nation's real estate wealth. Not me anymore. Not me anymore. The bottom 50%, who own a meager 2.6% of the financial wealth, own 11% of real estate wealth. The middle class, which is about 40% of the population, own the same percentage as the top 10%. How do we explain this concentration of real wealth in real estate in the top 10%? The wealthy own more expensive homes. But this isn't the whole story. The top 10% own the lion's share of second homes, vacation, what's STRV? short-term vacation rentals. They own a high volume of short-term vacation rentals. And land banked, quote unquote, homes, which are lightly used or empty. Unsurprisingly, real estate wealth is concentrated in the older generations, with boomers and older holding half, and Gen X, 44 to 60, with 30%. So boomers and Gen X own 82% of the nation's real estate. The winners and losers when the housing bubble pops are clear. The younger generation will win, and the older generation will lose, like I already have. And those who counted on the phantom wealth of bubbles lasting forever will lose, while those who do not enter the speculative bubble will win. All bubbles pop, and assets fall to levels that everyone at the top of the bubble agree are impossible. The Federal Reserve socialized the housing market starting in 2010 to arrest the deflation of the 2006-2007 housing bubble by buying trillions of mortgage-backed securities. This is visible in the Case-Shiller home price index. So here it is. The horizontal line is where the Fed, if you attach it right here, right here. The horizontal line is when the Fed started pumping, buying trillions of mortgage assets, and then home prices continued upward. That's also his target, 50% down when home prices collapse. This time around, the Fed may not be able to save the bubble from a complete round trip, and industry suggests a decline of 50%. I would say it could go lower because there'll be such disarray in the markets. Yes, we're millions of housing units short of demand, but speculation has driven hoarding to levels that are not easy to measure. Once the credit bubble pops, all assets driven higher by speculative credit will pop, including housing. Yes, a 50% decline is impossible, but let's check back around 2032, so that's a long time from now, 8 years, and talk about what's possible and impossible then. If we own a house free and clear and have no interest in using it as a speculative gamble or collateral for extracting phantom wealth with a HELOC, then the market value is of no concern. Then you're only looking at the utility value of the home. All right, so I guess I got out too early. I didn't want to. All right, so those are my force feeding of information. Let's see if Bobby Kennedy has said anything. He's supposed to talk in 25 minutes. I don't know if I can make it that long because I'm hungry. But let's see if there's any news. The only news is about Ben Affleck. Is that Affleck? Ben Affleck's divorce. They make it pretty easy if you study what's going on. They make it easy to get in before the crowd knows, because the crowd is reading crap. The crowd is listening to. All right, so Federer's coach died. Does it make you think why at age 59 someone would die that is fit? Oh, he looks a little overweight. Guys got to stop listening to the corporate media. All right, GDC now is $7.81. If I were to make a prediction, I'd probably be wrong, but I think that's a good chance to buy it back if you want to trade. I think a perfectly logical thing to do is put the money into something that isn't volatile yet and add to your positions there. There's 2 or 3 names we've talked about. Somebody asked me about Logic. I guess I must have had the conversation while I was walking. I didn't write anything down for Logic. But for Logic, remember, they have this one transaction that's going to be finalized that's worth 5 cents a share. And then they've announced basically 6 additional, could be 5 additional. It's not clear when you read it whether it's 6 total with the one that's already in binding or 6 more. It doesn't matter. They're going to get these all done at the same time. I've told you the risk in Logic is if the CEOs listen to the fake price that the criminals created or listen to the valuation and the 15% that Logic we keep, and then they get the 85% for their company of shares. If they're short-sighted and they need to match whatever the criminals have done, they're going to destroy it for everybody else. The best thing is for these 6 or 7 CEOs to look at the number of shares that are out there, recognize that they're going to be able to put revenue, cash flow, and earnings together in exciting new biotech areas, and they'll knock the shorts out of the water. So I'm actually excited about Logic. It might be a hold until next year, but don't diamond hand it. If you get a trade, take it. Like all of these stocks, everyone's at the beach. So I would expect movement in everything to happen after everyone comes back to school. But there's no specific news in Logic. It's just a waiting game. But I think it's a trade for sure. A trade. Where does it trading? Logic is last trade 2.5 cents. The ask is 0.027. So it's a little more expensive than it was when we started talking about it recently, but it's still under 3 cents a share. And if it goes to 5 or 6 cents, that's a double. And if it goes to 12, 15 is 5 times your money. Thank you, PS71. I know that's my reaction is trying to have powder. And I think for some people, let me look at the price. GDC has given some powder back. I love the guy that traded at, I forgot who traded at 10. Hang on. Hello? I am still on. I'm about to sign off. All right. Hang on. I've got to get the stupid speaker back on. Stupid speaker.
Battery 90%. Connected to Bill's iPhone.
Yeah. Okay. You should be on the, you are. You are. Go ahead.
All right, I just got a call from a broker friend, and he's hearing that there's a couple of primes in trouble on the street. So I don't know what stocks it relates to, but I have to assume it's close. I think it's us, maybe GDC, and I don't know, somebody else. I don't know what else is running, but we're getting closer, so that's a good thing. That's what he told me.
So what happens when that happens?
Prime brokers get, when they start calling for margin, and that's when they start to panic. A prime broker is like a bank official, really. When they have too much risk, they got to take some off the table. So if a short has too much risk, they have to take them off the table. So so they have to make them reduce their liabilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hearing there's a couple of primes in trouble. That means primes are in trouble about what? In the market, these stocks that we're talking about have potential for billions of dollars of losses. Not millions, billions. Something they sell at $2, they have to buy back at $200 is a brutal loss.
Would you buy puts on a prime?
I don't know which ones it is. I have no idea. The primes will get bailed out by the government, but the participants will get slaughtered.
Right.
That's how it goes. So whoever the shorts are, they get slaughtered. They go to jail. They get busted out for being over leveraged. They have all the liability. The prime, who had their hands in it also, they take a beating. They all lose their jobs. It's a complete disaster. So, but it's a good sign for us. No complaints. And the stock is telling you that this is going on, Billy.
I know.
Stock is, to me, I'm just going to say, even with GDC, all right, it's screaming that there's something going on, that there's a major buy-in coming. That's how it looks to me. That's what it tells me. And now to hear that there's a prime in trouble, that's...
And it may make it, when you compare that to what Powell just said, he's ready to start easing again. That might dovetail too. They want to make money available to the banks. Maybe.
Something's going on. Where is finger motion right now in the car?
It's on the NASDAQ. Don't you remember? It's 227, up 17 cents. It's 10 by 33, 27 by 30, and
but you can see that
350,000 shares.
The manipulation we were watching every day has sort of dried up and gone away.
Right.
To me, that's the sign. If you're short, if this was Tesla, change the symbol, and a stock that's got a big short position in it, whenever you see the selling stop, that tells you it's ready to go.
It used to anyway.
Well, listen, that still exists.
It does. It just, you got to wait for the setup. Yeah. Still exists.
this year. The
Yeah.
problem is for the shorts, they overstayed their welcome. They thought that everyone was getting bailout on the attack down from 7. Everybody's gonna leave.
And-
no one's gonna talk about this.
And to go back to, everyone hit me hard on that, but the company raised money, but just a small amount, and it was like ripping a Band-Aid off of a boo-boo. It hurt once. It didn't have any ongoing consequences, and so the shorts strategy is to drive the price down, get Finger Motion to go do business with Philip Valier, Hailey Kim, Sam Chung, John Hancock, and Jeff Easton again. But didn't happen.
Wait, how the hell do you remember all those names?
They're names that will live in infamy.
That's what I was gonna say. It's pretty good to remember all of them. But listen, this was an the crime has been to join the naked shorts all these years. But it's now it's reversed. The trade is reversed. Now the play is to the long side. Wall Street hedge funds are looking for plays to the long side. We want them to come in once the stock starts ripping. We want them to pay 10, 15, 20. I don't care about them down here. You get a hedge fund to come in to buy 1 million shares here, he pays, $3 for it, let's say. When it goes to 9, he's selling. That's just no way. That's just how they are. When retail gets it, and it just keeps getting distributed, 3,000, 10,000, 5,000, we sell little pieces, and that's what makes the trade go. That's what makes the short suffer because he can't find any real sellers.
Yeah, and the yen carry trade might be still, and the yen's rising apparently. That might still be a problem, and if Powell's cutting interest rates, I can't see the yen versus the dollar getting any better. I don't know. That's an interest. Somebody's pointing that, Peter Sachs.
They created all convoluted trades. They got everything twisted. They're so massive, all these derivatives. All this stuff is just to create money for the brokers and the banks. Everybody else is a loser on these stuff.
There's headlines about the BRICS coming up with an alternative to the SWIFT system, and it's all happening. And it's my opinion. The dollar isn't going away overnight. That's just my opinion. But it could. I mean, panic can do anything that 10 or 15 years in a normal life would take. Panic can change things overnight. But I don't see that. I think the dollar is still preeminent it'll be for 50% of trades anyway, 60%. I don't know.
We don't care about that. All we want is that Jeff Easton and his band of gypsies was pirates to be carried out. I'm sure Jeff Easton has visited Andrew Leff and tried to pitch him on one of his stocks and said, hey, we're short 50 million shares at $8, drive it down, go on TV, call it a scam, and we'll give you a couple of $100,000. I'm sure they bounced and they all know each other. So, these are all good things that are happening. But I just wanted to let you know what a guy told me. He's here in front, a couple of prime brokers are in trouble. That means they need to get more capital. They need to squeeze. To get more capital, they have to take risk off the table. So that means whether, let's just, for example, let's say in Finger Motion, once they start calling in and telling them to start buying shares, it won't stop. This is not going to be GDC. GDC has multiple short sellers in it. Finger Motion only has one. One for 230 million and one for 1.4 million, but they're the same people. Remember, Monday, the real short update comes out. It's 1.4 million, 1,420,000 to be exact. They've been watching trades, so that number is going to go down. Curious how much it goes down. I report it every day, William, all the watch trades. So the naked short number goes up because he's shorting, and the real short number comes down because he's buying, but he's only buying counterfeit shares from the real short, the naked short, excuse me. So they're just swishing it back and forth. So basically, the real short of 1.4 million is helping the naked short defraud their own prime broker because they're shorting it at a lower level, and the real short is buying it. So he's making profit on his short from $3, so 275. It's even lower now. Remember, I looked at the cost to do those trades keeps driving that cost down. So if the guy was short at 275, I reported that a month and a half ago. His cost right now is probably the most he can make is probably not 275. It's probably 260. So just think about that. The 1.4 million, their break even is 260. Where are we at, William? 230, you said?
Well, that's the ask.
Pretty soon that number is going to be upside down. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Shorted it at 260 at 3, but the cost to carry has driven that number lower. So his break even is 260. Once the stock goes above 260, that real short 1.4 million, he's going to be in the red.
Yeah.
How long is he going to stay around then? Especially when his friends are not selling it to him. As you can see, the naked short is looks like today's got his handcuffs on him a little bit. He can only do little pieces. So I got that. I just wanted to make sure you got that information.
Yeah. And in 8 minutes, I guess RFK will talk.
So again, you got RFK on the side. He bought stock in GameStop. He knows the fight that everybody's having against Wall Street. Trump knows the fight. Pat Byrne knows the fight. Devin
Right.
Nunes knows it. Elon Musk.
Right.
They're all on our side.
It's nice to have them on our side.
We had nobody on our side. I started this fight. It was me, and the people you see in the some of the videos you've seen on the streets of Manhattan. Some of my friends have passed away, but we have photos of them holding signs. I printed that sign in 2006, Wall Street Court Counterfeiting. That's 2006. I mean, we knew then what they were doing.
You didn't scare them. 2006.
They never thought that it'll end up with them going to jail. Right?
Well, that's a good point. It's not over yet.
Take all their money. Andrew left, probably got $50 or $100 million hidden wherever he's got going on. And how about going to jail for 25 years when he's 50 years old? They come out when he's 75.
Yeah, when he was 30, 50 sounded in the distant future. 50 is a good age to be. You don't want to be in jail.
Right. Well, now he can enjoy his money in jail. He can buy cigarettes and whatever, candy bars at the local candy store in the prison.
And listen to CNN on 10 all day long in the common area.
That's what they wanted. That's what Jeff Easton wants, right? Yeah. Jeff Easton needs a few years in jail. That's fat bastard.
Yeah.
All right, so I just wanted to get you that information, and I'll leave you with that.
All right.
Everyone, have a good night.
Thank you. All right, bye. Okay, I'm gonna sign off because I want to eat. 2, I got to pee. And 3, I want to kind of listen if there is something going on with Robert F. Kennedy. His vice presidential pick, she said this is going to be the biggest thing in politics since forever. I wonder what. But she's a wealthy woman. All right, A1 trades. So I'm going to wish everyone a good day. it's tough to watch that you didn't get out of GTC at 12 or 10 or 11, but I don't know. It just feels like the pause for the cause. And let's see what happens. Monday, they'll hit it. So let's see what happens Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. But, you know, it's a punt, so you don't know. Secondly, on oil, someone asked me, yeah, the Russians, my brother too, believe that oil might come from other sources, and the CEO of a company I worked with felt that way too. It's possible, but I think the biggest thing is we only take 10 or 15% of the oil out of the ground easily, and then even with a lot of hard work, we might get to 30%. There's a lot of oil left stranded, so there's always going to be a lot of oil in the ground. It's just expensive. Think this way: energy in, energy out. You know, the Saudi wells you could drill back in the day, you could drill, oil was sold $2 a barrel, but it might cost you 100 barrels to discover. I don't have the ratios in my head, billions of barrels, but the flow rate, you know, it might be spend 2 barrels, find 100 barrels daily production. Now you spend 2 barrels, you might find 4 in daily production. But that's changing too. So the technology does move out the day of reckoning. On logic, I think things are happening in terms of finalizing the one deal we already know they announced, and they announced there's more. But I would look for after everybody comes back to school. What was the other one? Finger, you heard Ham's views. I'm not being negative at all. I'm just, you already heard them, so I don't need to repeat them. And I'll try to have some income ideas for you. And other ideas, but I'm going to leave it there because my brain's not working. 2 minutes to sign on to wherever RFK is talking. That might be interesting. It might be a dud, but if Shanahan is her name, if she's correct that it's going to be the biggest news in politics for a long time, maybe you want to watch it. Um, um, I hope everybody makes a lot of money. And if you make a lot right now and then it turns out you could have made a lot more, don't worry about it. These things, maybe we'll get in a position where there'll be some popcorn popping and we can get on one ride and then there's 2 or 3 others. So that was something I sensed at the conference. In the oil and gas space, the resource space, but I think there's a chance for these smaller stocks to come to life again. So with that, I'm going to say peace. I'll say good day to John Platinum. And I wish everyone well. I'm sure we'll talk during the weekend. Cheers.